behind. So go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next with me here is when to pray, when not to pray, when to stop praying. Yeah. So it's not all about, praying, like just keep praying like a religious person, or you're praying because you want to pray. But the question is for you to be organized even in your prayer life. And this is the right book for you. When to pray, when not to pray, when to stop praying. So go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is don't eat tomorrow's food today. Yes, you have to live in the now and here. You don't have to do what you're supposed to do yesterday for today. So I don't think, we should do more than, take tomorrow's food for today. So go get your copy in case you don't even understand what the title is. Well, I would have loved to tell you, but I think it's better you find out yourself. So you can get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is who am I? Why am I here? I think this is the best book that you can ever read in your life, really. Because if you don't know who you are, if you don't know your identity, if you don't know your calling, if you don't know your talent, if you don't even know why why you look the way you look, if you don't know, for example, I'm black, and I used to don't know why I'm black, but this book helped me to find out why I'm black, why I'm from Nigeria. So please, and then the most important part is why am I here on earth? You are not here by accident. Trust me, there is a reason why you're here. So go find out. Go find out. And get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Okay, next is why you must urgently become a workaholic. Trust me, it's for your own good to become a workaholic. So go get your copy on Amazon, Kindle, and Okada Books. Thank you. Next is how to transform and build a civilized nation. This is one of the books that is leading and is helping us to understand this history makers training. Yesterday, for those of you that missed yesterday's seminar, we had a wonderful, great time with Pastor Bose Adelaja, and she talked about civilized person. But this is more like on another level of, on a nation level. So please go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is why am I here? Why am I unlucky? Why am I unlucky? I don't think someone should be unlucky, and I don't think there are unlucky people. Well, let me not say too much. You can go find out for yourself on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is the creative and innovative power of a genius. The creative and innovative power of a genius. When we talk about genius, we only read about them or we, watch them in movie. But today, DSA is telling us that you and me can become a genius. Yeah, it's very, very possible. So if you want to be a genius, please go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is read. Wow. I don't know why this title is kind of interesting for me. Yeah. Okay, read yourself A Shallow Mindedness. Please get your copy on Amazon, Kindle, and Okada Books. Thank you. Next is how to keep your focus. How to keep your focus. How to keep going in the right direction and to keep doing what you are supposed to do consistently. So please go get your copy on Amazon, Kindle, and okadabooks.com. Thank you. Next is Nigeria and the leadership question. Yeah, when you hear the first word Nigeria, it's not all about, this book is not only for Nigerians. Anybody can go get this book. It's about leadership of a nation. So please go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is the Nigerian economy, the way forward. Hallelujah. There is a way forward for Nigerian economy. And if you want to find out how that is possible, and or if that is true, well, go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is create your own network. Create your own network. Please go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is how to create core values in a child. How to create core values in a child. We all have children in our lives that we see every day. And we shouldn't just smile or play with them, but I think you can help them to become better in their lives. So please go get this copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is how to make Nigeria the greatest country in the world. Wow. Yes. And I believe it's not only for Nigeria, I believe it should also apply to other nations. How to make Nigeria the greatest country in the world. Please go get your copy on Amazon, Kindle, and Okada Books. Thank you. Next is life is an opportunity. Yes, you and me are alive today because there is an opportunity for each of us. So please go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is, hello, I am searching for problems. Yes, I am searching for problems. Why should someone be searching for problems? If you want to know, please go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is, work is better than vacation. Labor is better than favor. Work is better than vacation. Labor is better than favor. Go get your copy on Amazon, Kindle, and Okada Books. Thank you. Next is 7 tips to self-fulfillment in life. Yep, we all want to be fulfilled in our lives. So this is a guidebook for you. Go get your copy on Amazon, Kindle, and okadabooks.com. Next is your greatness is proportional to your trials, crises, and tribulation. Your greatness is proportional to your trials, crisis, and tribulation. You can get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. And for those of you that are just joining us now, we are on DSA platform, so I'm just introducing a few of his books because he is the author of over 300 books, so I'm just helping you to advertise or to explain a few of the books. Here with me is Where There Is Problem, There Is Money. Where there is problem, there is money. I don't think anybody should be missed out on this book because we all need money. Thank you. You can get it on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is the danger of monoculturalism. The danger of monoculturalism. Yeah. You can get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is poverty mindset versus abundance mindset. Poverty mindset versus abundant mindset. Yep. So you should get your copy and find out how is even possible, or what is poverty mindset about on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is discover the source of your latent energy. Discover the source of your latent energy. The title of the books, most of them are very, they make you curious of what it's about. That's the whole point. So don't miss out. Go get your copy on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Next is Only God Can Save Nigeria. What a myth. Yeah, Nigerians will relate to this more. But once again, it's not only for Nigerians. Anybody can get this book. So please go get your copy on Amazon, Kindle, and okadabooks.com. Thank you. Next is Insulted by Ungodliness. Insulted by Ungodliness. You can get it on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you. Yeah, I think we can finish.
Wow. I was telling her yesterday about that fashion tape.
Okay, so last with me here is Church Shift. It's one of DSA classic books. Church Shift. This book is needed for everyone. Be you a pastor, be you an ordinary person, we all need this book. Go get it on Amazon, okadabooks.com, and Kindle. Thank you.
Do you monopolize the right to order for my wife?
Yes, yes.
Maybe the order. No monopoly.
No.
I think we'll be all telling you to become a fashion designer instead of a HMT coordinator.
No. No. I like coordinating HMT. I like coordinating HMT. Yes.
But you are doing well with the fashion too. With the other one too.
I promise to do better with the HMT. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you. And Dr. Sunday Ajalaja is here, so let's put our hands together and welcome him.
Hello everybody. Sorry, I almost didn't greet you thanks to Babusha. Babusha's scared. I forgot you all. You see? Why do people want me to put it on this side?
You tend towards the left one.
So this one is on the left side. So how are you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Listen to my advice. Listen to my advice. Try and get some rest. Try and get some sleep during the day and during the night. Irene, I don't want Italy to come with arrest warrant to me. Get some rest. Same thing with Matilda. I don't want your children. You know, I promised them that you'll be okay. Okay? We want you people to take care of yourself. We are just training you. We don't want you to in the process. The rigor of the training is enough. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Facebook audience. Yes. Please, everybody on Facebook, please help us check if you are hearing very well. Is the volume okay? Please let us know if the volume is okay on Facebook, because like every day people are complaining about the volume. And I read through your comments. You were also complaining that we were not paying attention to the Facebook audience at all. We're just doing our own thing. So I'm trying to show my repentance by correcting the error. That's why I'm remembering you now, and I'm caring for the volume if the volume is not okay. So I think some of you people who are here also, if you have time to check whatever comments they are writing, so that we'll see if the comments they're writing is at the volume, so that we could respond immediately. Okay, what was the problem with the?
We couldn't connect the projector with the
So why is the projector on then? If you cannot connect it.
Another computer, but we won't be able to show the slide and you at the same time.
Okay. But it's on now.
Yeah,
Huh?
we're going to have the presentation, but it's not going to be on the screen and you at the same time the way we do it every day.
So you are going to be showing. What is that, the computer problem or?
I was still figuring out the thing, the technical is the connection between the projector and the map. Because in the map we have the program where we can put the screen, the presentation and
Okay. Let's go. Pastor Pierre, how are you? Yeah, I know that I shouldn't worry about you because you've been here before. I'm sure you are doing well. How are your brother and sister doing? Especially the lady. Are you coping? Are you surviving? Okay. We don't want you to get mad at your pastor that he brought you to a place of suffering. Okay, here we go. All right, so we are continuing our training, how to build a developed and civilized nation. How to build a developed and civilized nation. And the topic of today,
I think I'll be doing that.
okay. So, but then you have to promise me that you are not going to go to sleep. All right, the topic of today is principles of transformation of a nation through work, diligence, finances, money. But I spoke about work a little bit yesterday, but we are going to continue it today, the principle of work, how the principle of work and labor is essential. Work, diligence, and labor is essential in transforming a nation. I've written some books on this subject. One of the books is Workaholic, Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic.
Pastor, sorry. The good news is it's still showing the way we usually do it. Yes, it's still showing on the screen, both screen, you and the presentation. So just so you know that you can, but I don't know why you can't control it from your side.
Did you people, did you put it, did you connect it? You have to connect it. And then
So I'm just going to control it myself, but you can't do it, unfortunately.
yeah, did you check it here? Did you check the battery and?
Yes. It's just because we changed computers, we're using this one.
Because when you plug it to the new computer, you're supposed to set it up there. Anyway, maybe you do it during the break. So, where are the books? Let me see give me a copy of Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic and Labor is Better Than Favor. All right. They are bringing, no, he's bringing them here. Yeah, labor is better than favor, workaholic, and which one did I write about work again? Yeah, I think you people, this one is called Work is Better Than Vacation, Labor Better Than Favor. And then Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic. Why am I doing this? Because I'm intentional. Because I want to counteract what the GOs and the pastors are doing. Not just in Nigeria, but in most of the charismatic circles, which is they are teaching that favor is better than 1 day of favor is better than 20 years of labor. So I wrote a book, Labor is Better Than Favor. Work is better than vacation. And here I'm trying to kill two birds. Because labor is better than favor, that is for the Africans. But for the Europeans, it's work is better than vacation. Because they are all dreaming of vacation. Yeah, so that's why this book is written. And then why you must urgently become a workaholic is for everybody as well. So, but let's see how labor, diligence, work could be used as a principle to develop a nation. Here we go.
Principles of transformation of a nation through work, diligence, and money.
Yep.
Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich.
So it doesn't matter how much you pray. If you have a slack hand, Proverbs 10:4 says, he who has a slack hand becomes poor. So the same thing could be said about countries and nations. So nations that have slack hand will become poor. A country that has slack hand is going to be poor. So either you like it or not, it is not prayers that develop a nation. It is not religious activity that develops a nation, you say. If a nation will be so religious, prayerful, and do everything right, religious-wise, but if they are slack, not even being lazy, but just slack. And the difference between being lazy and slack is that laziness is just like you don't want to work. But in Africa, we work, but we are slack. We are not compacted. We are not, it's not coordinated. We are not moved. We are not driven. We are relaxed. We are slack. We do it at our own pace, at our own convenience. We are just slack. And that is the basis for poverty. So, but in Europe, you cannot be slack because everything. You cannot afford to be slack. If you are slack, you will not be able to pay for your insurance. You will not be able to drive your car. You will not be able to live in your house. You will not be able to pay for your medicals. You are out in the street if you are slack. But in Africa, if you are slack, no problem. Your relatives will do something. You have your father's house. Do you know that in Europe there are no things like father's house? No father's house. You have to go and work for your own house. So we are slack. And that is one culture that must be altered and changed. We need to be able to teach our people and train them and convince them that we need to, so when I see our pastors talking about one day of favor, I say, don't people know the word of God? I mean, it's like people are reading. I don't even know what's wrong with the church in Africa right now because it's like, either they are reading another Bible or they are not really taking the word of God serious. Because even the word of God says, go to the ant and learn. I mean, all of Proverbs is full of all kind of encouragement to work and, don't be lazy, don't be slack, don't do that. And where do they bring that from, that one day of favor? Instead of encouraging people in diligence, instead of pushing people, and the church is supposed to be the standard in hard work. I mean, God said he works. Jesus said he must work because his Father works. So what explanation can we have? Because it is the spirit of the world that doesn't want to labor. It is the spirit of the world. So it means that the church now is trying to play along the flesh of the people, trying to tell them what they need to hear. The flesh wants to relax, so you can't find a doctrine that will suit them so that they keep on coming to church. The flesh wants to have something for nothing, So you start a doctrine to tell them they will get breakthrough. The flesh wants to just rejoice and just entertain, be entertained and live in pleasure. So you come up with doctrines, that, Oloro Bogboro or something they call it. And experience, and you just come up with entertainment, what they call it, comic or what they call it. They call it something. Comedians, yes. You begin to bring them to the church and do, because people want to laugh, people want pleasure. So you are turn church to pleasure center. Even though the Bible says that run away from people who jest, who are joking too much, who are laughing too much. Life is not about laughter. Life is serious. But you make a whole church become a center for laughter. So it's all messed up. It's the opposite of the word of God in every ramification. Just in a quest to keep people. I mean, you go find out how many scriptures that are against people just empty laughter, joking, jokes. I mean, everywhere. And then you went and it's one thing for you, instead of you to even preach against that it shouldn't be happening in the society. Now you made the church the center of that thing. You're supposed to be preaching against the society not being lazy, but you now make the church the headquarters of laziness. People want to do inferior, substandard work. People want to cut corners. Everybody wants to cut corners. That's the flesh. Every one of us has it. So the flesh already wants to do what is horrible. So he's only looking for any encouragement. Now the church became the encouragement for you to cut corners, whereby you are supposed to come to God to be delivered from it. There is just no way I will keep quiet. I'm sorry. There is just if I'm to keep quiet, I would rather die than keep quiet. It is too much. It's just I don't know anybody that has the fear of God or conscience that will keep quiet and say I don't want to offend people. I don't get it. So, but the most deadly doctrine that is in the church right now is the doctrine of breakthrough, witches and wizards, deliverance, saying any problem you have is you don't need to improve yourself. You don't need to question yourself. You don't need to, change your nature. You need to look for who is responsible. You need to look for the enemy that is responsible. So the paganistic tendencies of looking for who to blame rather than what to change in myself is been so entrenched in the church right now. So people right now are not asking, what do I need to change? What is wrong? What do I need to improve? They are saying who to blame. Is it who is responsible? Who is standing for it? Who is behind it? Who is behind it in my father's house, in my mother's? Who is behind the problem? And this is all in an attempt to keep people coming. So that when you tell them that it is somebody who is responsible, then you are the big man of God. You are the one who has revelation. You are the one who has prophecy. So people will come into you. But when you tell people no, the reason they fired you from your job is not because somebody in your village, it's because you are not diligent enough. Because you are not working extra hours. It's because you are not providing the best services. That makes you to want to improve yourself. The reason they didn't promote you is because you didn't go to do extra class. You didn't go to do your master's. You didn't pursue you didn't improve yourself. Not because your stepmother is bad. So there are two worldviews. The worldview that says it's somebody that's responsible only breeds enmity, suspicion, hatred, anger, kills love. But the worldview that says, no, is you are responsible, work on yourself, it brings improvement, self-improvement, growth, development, advancement. Because you say, okay, what's responsible for that cancer? Instead of looking for the enemy, you look for a solution. You do research. You build institutions. You build hospitals. So it leads you to creativity and discovery. So I am, people should know that my concern for the Nigerian church and my madness is much more deeper than calling out names. If you are going to judge me just by the calling of names, it means you are too surface. Because that's only what you see from the surface. Let's go a little bit deeper. You begin to see that there are some senses in what I'm saying. Because these things destroy the foundation of the society. And what are the foundations of the society? Value systems. So instead of the values being the foundation of society right now, we are now having vices. For people not to work, to be doing services every day or going to mountain, for half of the year, that is not those are vices that will destroy the foundation of the society. For people to be expecting breakthrough instead of working for it, those are vices. For people to be asking who instead of what, those are vices. And those things destroy the very foundation of the society. These 2 books will not be my last books. I'm going to keep on writing onto this topic of diligence and excellence. And I even have another book on excellence, I guess. I think I have a book on excellence. Yeah. Can you find it for me? Because excellence is also part of what we're talking about. It's part of labor, it's part of work, part of diligence. Do you know that in my country right now, you cannot get almost anybody to do an excellent work for you, from laborer to plumber? You would rather go to Togo or somewhere to import them, or Benin Republic, because they do quality work, because they don't have so many churches. They don't have revival. They don't even go to church. They don't have apostle of prosperity. They have not been taught that one day of favor is better than 10 days of... Who is this Oyiboko Lokolo that came here? Hey, you people, you and Babusha. She disappeared. So we need to know that what these pastors are doing is destroying the foundation of the society. This goes beyond church. It is the basis of corruption. When you tell people that there is breakthrough, it means that take a shortcut. So if I see any amount of money that is, not accounted for, I will say it's breakthrough, my breakthrough that has come. I will say it is the breakthrough that the pastor pronounced on Sunday that has come to pass. If I'm supposed to give a contract by merit, I would rather give it to my wife or set up a company and say, it is my opportunity. So merit will be discarded. And the person you gave the job to will never be able to build a good road. It will spoil in the next 2 months. So the whole foundation of the society is destroyed when there is no excellence, when there is no values, when there are no values like this. I just hope people will be able to understand the reason for my madness. Am I mad? I guess I am to some people. I thought I was okay, but I am discovering otherwise very fast. I'm discovering otherwise very fast. But I might be mad, but there are some arguments for my madness. There are some reasons for those madness. Because right now I don't even know who is okay or who is mad anymore. I used to think I was the one who was okay, but right now, when I'm the only one who is strange, I'm now thinking maybe I'm the one who is not okay. Because that's the way they make me feel when you read those comments. That I'm the one who is not okay. They are the ones who are okay. The papas. But I say, if you are the ones who are okay, why is it the nation is not working? Why is it that the Congolese who don't go to church can do better laboring work and quality work than that? Because when we didn't go to church also, we were doing better. When we were going to Catholics and the Anglican and Methodists and Baptists, we were okay. Our mind had not been messed up.
Yes.
I was faster than you to find it here. Look at the lady sitting there. She got it here. So, you know what I think? Things that are first of all rejected, they normally come back and take the center stage. Like they used to say, ladies shouldn't wear trousers. Now they do. They used to say women shouldn't vote. Now they are presidents. They used to, all kind of things that people used to be rejected, even homosexuality that used to be rejected is now accepted in some places. So, you see, I think maybe these things will still get to our people. Even though it might be rejected now, but I think maybe it will still come across. If we push.
And when people will see that what they're doing is not working. What they're doing is not working.
But that's what's surprising to me, because everybody knows Nigeria is not working, but they still keep on going to those churches, you know. Because they have been brainwashed so bad. They are conditioned, yeah. I mean, can you believe it that in my country, people will tell you, okay, for example, a pastor that I really respected. I mean, this guy even comes to my platform, you know. Sometimes. He's not my disciple, but he's like a big guy. He came and wrote me a letter and said, Pastor Sunday, can you imagine what Pastor Chris Oyakhilome has done again? I said, what did he do? I said, forget about Chris Oyakhilome. Me, I don't even listen to what he says anymore. But I'm sure that Chris Oyakhilome is listening to me sometimes. But anyway, this guy now came with the biggest surprise of my own life. I thought he's supposed to be praising Chris Oyakhilome for this one, but he's condemning him. So I said, what did he do this time? He said, Chris Oyakhilome went and said that there is nothing like husband. Is it spiritual? What do you call it? Is it spiritual? There is nothing like spiritual husband and Mami Water Spirit. He said, how can a man of God and believe that there is nothing like spiritual husband? I said, see me see trouble. Things are too bad. Can you believe it? They are saying that how can Chris Oyakhilome condemn? I said, this is one thing he got right. And you, the normal ministers, the ones who are spiritual, you are now saying, how can he say that? So you believe, I said, then our darkness is too much. This one is one of the progressive, this one is the revolutionary who said it. Eh? How can you say there is no spiritual husband? He has backslidden. I said the person you are complaining to, you don't know that he's also backsliding. That if to go by that definition, I have been backsliding before Chris got it. I have been saying there is no spiritual husband long time ago. It means I have been backsliding earlier. And you are coming to me to complain. The sheep backslider. The sheep antichrist. How can he say there is no Bobby water?
Only in Africa.
pray, guys, just pray for me that this my lawsuit here should end up on time. I need to go to that country. And God, oh, look who came. Pastor Rory! Pastor Rory, you didn't lose weight this time. Pastor Rory, welcome.
You're welcome.
That's our Jewish, Swedish, American pastor. He has all the citizenships of the world. So, what do we say to this? We need a revolutionary approach. They are telling me, oh, what you are saying is okay, but the way you are saying, I said, you wait till I come. You think the way I'm saying is bad now? You think we need more revolutionary approach? Yeah. You think I'm mad now? You will go and see, the real one. I mean, running the market madness. That's the one we are talking about. Yes. The running the market madness. How can, yes, Otija, what they call it? Otija Woja, yeah. The madness that don't enter market, yes. The one that don't enter market. That, yeah.
How do you get that one first?
That's the one you will see when we get on ground. Because I'm not on ground here, you think I'm too radical. Which radical when I'm not even there? You say, oh, it's the method. We need to have radical method. Because our things, when something has gone to one extreme, for you to even bring it back to the center, you've got to go to the other extreme. And then maybe if you are lucky, to settle in the center. So for you now to be saying, no, we just have to patch it. It will never move. No. It will not move, even past where it was. Talk less of getting to the center. You've got to pull it to the other side. So, can you go back to the slide? To the title? Yeah. Principles of transformation of a nation through work, diligence, and money. There is another book I need to have here. We call it The Dignity of Labor. How to transform a nation through the dignity of labor. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I have it. Yeah, so, I thought there is another topic still. This is how to become a developed nation through the dignity of labor. Yeah. So I have 4 books on this topic. How to become a developed nation through the dignity of labor. Excellence, your key to elevation. Why you must urgently become a workaholic. Work is better than vacation. Labor better than favor. Yeah. I said, I'm going to write 10 books minimum on this kind of different dimensions of things. Because we need to uproot these vices from our society. And from our pulpits also. Because why should I write books? You say, why? Because first of all, people need to know the truth. Secondly, pastors are asking me, okay, you are saying these things we are preaching is bad. When I listen to you finish, I don't know what to talk about again when I get to church on Sunday. Okay? That's why I said, before I come to really start the revolution, at least you will have something. So that when you don't know what to talk about again, you will get new material. You'll be able to know. Because some people tell me, what will I talk? If you said all these things are, everything I know is wrong. So what will, it's like cutting my hands and my feet and then say, stand there. I can't stand because I don't have feet to stand on. No more message. All the messages are wrong. If all the messages are wrong, that's why we need to write new books. Books that will be able to show you the Bible perspective and bring the truth out. So that's why I think people need this. And not just pastors, but even Christians. We need new talk, new doctrines. Yeah, new messages. Yes, new mindset. And that's why we need to write the books. Okay, let's go to the next page again.
Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4.
Stronger, sir. Stronger. You look bigger than me, and it's like you are even more well-fed, Seth. And you are even younger. Me, I'm an old man. I can talk stronger than you. So if you are a young man, make use of your strength.
Yeah. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4.
Now we are talking.
He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich.
Yes. So that's what we are talking about. It's not just concerning individuals, it's concerning nations. So nations will remain poor as long as they are slack. And one area where we are slack also is in the area of time. Because it's not just talking about laziness, it's all form of slackness. And we are slack in terms of time too. And when you are slack like that, in time of time, when you are supposed to start a meeting at 10 and you are starting it at 12, 2 hours later, that slackness will lead to poverty. Any country where people don't pay attention to time, and when people just are slack in regards to time, all those countries suffer economically. Because it doesn't lead to to wealth. It leads to poverty. It leads to poverty. So I'm writing a book now on that. It's going to be called How Every African Country Can Double Our GDP. Just by maximizing time. How to maximize time every minute and make every minute be productive. If you can make every hour productive, and just that alone will double our GDP. But I've not yet. I've just finished. I'm just about to finish that one. Not yet ready. But yeah. So slackness in work, slackness in timing, and in culture, in doctrines, worldviews, these things lead to poverty. And the churches, unfortunately, are the ones who are bringing these things up. Especially laziness and things like that. So we need help. We need to quickly hand over a new message to our next generation, to our children's generation. And some of us who are still hoping to live for another 30 to 40 years, we are hoping to still see it.
Yes.
Because even though I talk about death all the time, but I'm not getting ready to die.
Yeah.
I just talk about it just to say in case, because it's in God's hand. But I plan to be around to bring about the revolution, you see. Yeah. So here we go.
If any nation is to experience abundance and prosperity, the citizens must be taught to love work and not slack.
Okay.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 32 to 34. When I saw it, I considered it well. I looked on it and received instruction. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. So shall your poverty come like a prowler, and your need like an armed man.
Well, unfortunately, that's what we have in our nation. And that's what we do. You remember the film we watched yesterday about America and about working hours and about, they are even telling Americans that you have a chance to take 6 weeks. So most of them are saying, 80% of people say, no, we want to go back. Even the 2 weeks they are still cutting it short and coming back to work. And after hours, they call them extra work, or what do you call it? Overtime. What? Nobody even practices that in our place anymore. Overtime. But that's why economy grows. The more you produce, the more you have. But our own is little rest, little party, little owambe, and all kind of that's what we celebrate. We are not celebrating work. So that culture needs to change. We don't celebrate work in our place. Pastors tell us that work is a curse. And labor is even more a curse. So God is the one who is cursed then, because God works. Jesus is cursed then, because Jesus works. Okay?
Slothfulness or laziness is the first reason for poverty.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Africa, and this not to insult Africans, but the word of God remains. We need to do better in the area of changing the mindset of our people in regards to work. Okay, for example, all of us in Africa used to think that we work hard until we got to Europe. I don't know of you, but when you get to Europe or America, you discover that, wow, I don't work before at all. Yes, I've not worked before at all. Now work they start. And that's why a lot of pastors in Europe, they don't work, African pastors. They don't go to work. They work in church. They say that is their work. Yes, that's what they call it. And I say, what are you doing with full time? If you are full time, we must see the product. We must see the resources. I became full time because, we were already having 2,000 people. If you have 2,000 people, okay, be full time. If you are having 20 people and you are full time, I don't understand. I bought my first car when we were already having 2,000 people in church. But if you can work, then work and buy your jet. But not on the back of the poor people. Okay?
For a nation to be great, it must have a deeply rooted culture of work.
You see, all those countries that we saw, they are great because they have deeply rooted culture. Where are the videos? Have we gone? Let's see some videos, please. Are you okay?
We're using two computers.
No surprises. Please.
Depending upon how well you do, and particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch.
The people here
and we showered at the YMCA, and we're so hard up we had just one computer, so the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night. 7 days a week, all the time.
Leave the internet alone.
And I briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had just...
Brad. Hello. Как тебя зовут? Ваня. Слушай, бери. Мы будем здесь показывать на экран, а камера просто пускай берет с экрана на это самое и все. He said they are going to see it over there, and we just by faith. As if it is those words at home I'm teaching. The people here are the priority. They pay for their tickets to be here. The fact that we are showing it on the internet is just, just our magnanimity, to our kindness, to the kindness of all these people who bought their tickets. They are the priority. And now you want to put them at the backyard and say you want to show to the people in the internet. No, you should show to the ones here. So another item computer and показывать в зал. Where are the men even? All these men, they are going to work. They don't want to take holidays to be able to do HMT for us.
What is the name of the video?
So this 90 kaki was that they've called it. Eta je drugo je provod. Eta, pa-bomo eta drugo je provod. Eta na premu sin is idiot best bell or best bell is stuff. Okay, Babusha, I think what you need is what we used to do to connect to the television. Is the connection to this Mac notebook. That's what we need to bring, I guess. That's what he is looking for. That's why he cannot use this one. Sorry, guys, for those one of you at home on the internet, they are having technical challenges here. We hope we'll be able to resolve it.
There you go. It's right there.
Zvuk, yes. Надо подключить звук куда-то там. Или у
You
вас.
have to plug it.
The volume now, right?
You gotta play it.
I think I've dealt with some of the adversities, some of the challenges, of which we've had many. You know, I started a band and the world laughed at me. No matter what.
Will you need the microphone for the so that it will be?
You want to get your work ethic so high that people actually admire you. I'm going to ask you a question right now.
Is that the
Do people
volume?
know you
Is
because
it
of
working?
your unbelievable work ethic? If you can't answer yes to that,
Eta
then
Nashala.
you're not going to get in that top 10%. You got to get at the top.
Beta
People have to
National.
know you, not because, oh, he's a good salesman. Oh, he's a good this. Oh, he's an artist. Oh, he's a good pianist. Oh, he...
No matter what.
You want to get your
Eta
work
na veno
ethic
ni
so
to
high
nada
that people
pokazać
actually admire
ludzie
you. I'm going to ask you a
gabarita
question right
strana
now.
kako.
Do people know you
Takuta dość
because
robić
of your
drugoj, takuta
unbelievable
astrane
work ethic?
gabarity ni ja.
If you can't answer yes to that, man, you're
Arabutek
not going to get in
słabo
that
to.
top 10%. You got to get at the top.
Ili
People have
wczorajszy
to know
na
you,
Dragislu.
not because, oh, he's a good salesman. Oh, he's a good this. Oh, he's an artist. Oh, he's a good pianist. Oh, he writes a great, story. No, dude, people need to know you for one major thing
pokazywajcie na
first.
internet,
He
w internet.
works. He
Idiot.
produces. The guy's there every day. The guy's pushing and shoving. Because the truth is, no
No,
matter
eta
how
litość
good your
nada.
ideas are, how
Stop,
good
stop,
your
stop.
art is, or how good
This is not what we needed. We needed the one we showed yesterday. You have the one we showed yesterday?
Yes, but I don't have it on this computer. I only have it on the Mac.
Okay, don't worry. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the note at least. Let's continue the note. We'll do the video later. All right, so Al, can you continue?
For a nation to be great, it must have a deeply rooted culture of work. That is a national consciousness that encourages the love for work.
Yeah. So with a national consciousness we need to set up in Africa. It's a cultural thing. We need to, And who remembers? How did we say we could change that? How could we make a whole nation to begin to live right? How could we change attitude and the heart of people? Who remembers from yesterday?
Propagation and legislation.
Yes. You know the way they did it in Russia here? They did it through legislation. Even though it worked, but it's counterproductive. When you only rely on legislation, so how did they do it? What they did is that at 9 o'clock in the morning, everybody must either be on the way to work or at work. So the police are instructed to go out every 2 hours. At 12, at 10, 12, 2, 4, you patrol the shops and the cities to see anybody walking free. So if you are walking free, then you have to produce your papers that you have holidays that time, or you're on vacation, or that your work has released you to be free. Why are you not working? That's legislation. China is like that. Japan is like that. But Japan now, it has also become a culture through propagation. And America is through propagation. So propagation is what we just saw yesterday. Let's show that film of yesterday when we can do the video. Let's do the video of yesterday. So the propagation is what we saw with America. When they are telling them, do you know that all other countries in Europe take vacation for minimum 6 weeks? And you only have 2 weeks? And he said, yeah, we know it's okay, but we like it better here. You like 2 weeks better than 6 weeks holiday? He said, yeah. Then it went ahead to say that even those who have 2 weeks, sometimes they cut it short to come back. That is, they are brainwashed. That is what propagation can do. They have brainwashed the people's mind so much that they have now believed that work is better than vacation. That is the kind of culture we should be aiming to create in Africa. That is the kind of change in culture that we should be aiming at. To make our people to begin to believe that work is better than vacation. When you attain that, there is no way that country will not develop. And that's what Japan also has attained. China has attained it. But it's not natural to the nature of man. It is only through informed, intentional, purposeful cultivation of culture. So these things were done intentionally. And we need to be intentional in making our people embrace the culture of work. Yes, sir.
Okay. As the Bible used to talk sometime about Mammon works and God's works, at which time can we have the difference, between, let's say, I don't want to work for Uncle Sam or for Mammon, but I'm working, but I'm working for God. At which level do you make the difference between two of them instead at the level of individual and for the nation?
Beautiful. Oh, it means Pastor Pierre has done a very good work at you. Beautiful question. It means you know a lot. You know a lot more than average human being. Because average human being don't know the difference between working for Uncle Sam and that's the only kind of work most people know. So kudos to you. Thank you. And that reminds me of that book. Is that book there, Stop Working for Uncle Sam? That should be alongside this. So that we make the distinction between just working for Uncle Sam and the kind of work that we are talking about. Because the kind of work that we are talking about is not just about working for Uncle Sam. In my own understanding, work should be 80% working for your calling, working for your destiny, working for your purpose, work should be, first of all, to accomplish. Stop working for Uncle Sam. Can you find a book for me? Okay, so number one, work should be to fulfill your calling and mission in life. Secondly, work should be to discover yourself. Thirdly, work should be to maximize the resources of God in you. Fourthly, work should be to discover the resources that God has put on the earth so that you can use it to glorify Him. Work should be a source of provision for the world, for yourself. So a lot of things that proper work should be for. But right now, most work is just for Uncle Sam, that's it. So when I'm talking about work, I'm talking about work in these senses, not in the sense of Uncle Sam. Now, sometimes there is a need for work to be for Uncle Sam too, because you need to get experience. At that stage, you might need to work for Uncle Sam. You might need to need some time before you discover yourself. So in the way and the process of discovering yourself, you might need to work for Uncle Sam as well. And sometimes you need to be faithful in something that is another man's thing. So that might be another reason to work for Uncle Sam right now. Or what? Maybe your income is not enough. Your calling, where you make your own calling, is not enough for you to have enough provision for you, to make enough money. That way, you might need to work for Uncle Sam so that you just have money to survive. But in that sense, maybe you are working 80%, 40% of the time for Uncle Sam, or 60%, then the rest of the time you are working for your calling. So there's some need for you to work for Uncle Sam sometimes. But when I'm talking about work, I'm really talking about all these other things, working for your purpose, working for the fulfillment of your calling, working to discover and to, conquer your promised land, and working to fulfill your vision and God's mandate on your life, working to discover yourself, working to be a source of blessing. All these things rather than the work just to survive. Because working for Uncle Sam means you are working to survive. Working for Uncle Sam means you are working to make a living. Working for Uncle Sam means you are working for money. Working for Uncle Sam means you are the servant of work and of money. Working for Uncle Sam means that money is not working for you. You are working for money. It's making you subhuman. It's making you the horse. In the 18th century, they used to have the horse. Is it the horse you call it? The horse and the cart, yeah. So you are the horse pulling the cart. That is what it means working for Uncle Sam. Yes. And that is well and better explained in this book. Start working for Uncle Sam. And also here, work is better than vacation, labor is better than favor. And also here, dignity of labor. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Pastor. So, what are the principles, or how could we then, at the level of a nation, help people to work not for just money or for the business, because everyone is not believers in a nation. If we want to maybe change the things, so how could we introduce the notion of calling in the work of all these people who are not all believers?
Oh, beautiful. You know that, when it comes to self-fulfillment and self-realization, discovering who you are, working according to your calling, working according to your purpose, it's not only believers who talk about this. Somebody yesterday mentioned a name of Anthony Robbins or something. Is it Robbins you call him? Anthony Robbins? Tony Robbins, yeah. So that Tony Robbins, he's also talking about calling, and not just him, motivational speakers, companies. So why? Because it doesn't matter if you are a Christian, you are not a Christian, you are a Buddhist, everybody wants to find fulfillment. So the topic of fulfillment should be introduced, or self-discovery is part of the enlightenment and the education and propagation we are talking about. We have to let people, the whole country, know. And that is the problem with the West. The Western countries, they don't make you to know that you have a calling. They just make you to realize you need to survive. So that is because that is the way the economy and the world system has been built. But Uncle Sam is interested in that. Uncle Sam is not interested in you discovering yourself. Uncle Sam is interested in you just working for them, because Uncle Sam is looking at mechanics. Uncle Sam is looking at the horse and the cart. So they are just looking at, you are a human being, but you are just a horse to them. You are just a cart and a horse. So, but the whole foundation of the society, any society could be based on this foundation, whereby the whole society has educational system. And you know, this educational system that we have right now is coming from the 15th century, 15th, 16th, 14th century, and where everything just was put there, and everybody just reproducing the same. It's just a, you know, a conveyor. But right now, a lot of people are already saying the educational system needs to be re-examined, the subjects and things. So one of the subjects that will come in the future in the educational system in the primary, secondary school must be to help all students discover who they are and what they have passion for, who they want to be. So you might have passion to come and do something, repairs, things will still work, but everybody will just be in the place where they need to work. And so that it might not be the whole country, but if we could get 50% of the people to work for what they want to do, then the whole world will be much happier and the whole nation will be more happy. Now, there will be times when you know your calling is to become somebody else, but right now, because you are a student, you still need to work in McDonald's. That's okay. You know you are supposed to become this, but right now you need to do something else, but that will still be there. But at least you will know you are on your way to your calling, to wherever you are going. I don't know if I answer your question. Yeah. Anybody want to say anything about this?
I just want to say,
yes.
You can set time. You can give yourself a time of maybe 2 years. I just have 2 years to work here.
Yes.
To be able to,
yes.
to make money to invest in my calling.
Right.
You know, just to get skill on,
yeah.
just on your calling.
Or to make money for your next endeavor. Yeah. Yes, please.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is, let's assume I'm in Nigeria, but I'm not. And maybe I'm used to the...
you are so incredibly flamboyant. I can't stop looking at you.
Thank you, Pastor. And I should...
Let her talk where she is now. Just talk, Jerry.
Okay. So let's assume I'm in Nigeria right now, and I'm used to not going to work early. Even if I don't go, they are paying me. I can goof off. I can do what I want. How will the person develop this work ethic for a global level, coming from that background? Because if you're talking about Uncle Sam, the person does not even know, you know, like let's say a typical person that's just used to going to a Owambe party and all that. So where does the person start? What can be like a system of when you get to this level, then you go to this level? That's what.
Yeah, if the person is not going to come across this material, he will just think he's living a normal life. And he will be living in ignorance, thinking he's living a normal life. And a lot of people in our continent and in my country, sorry to say, are thinking they are living the normal life. They might even be thinking they are enjoying. But really, they are being wasted. So what you are saying is a big deal. And that's why I want to believe God that a lot of you who are here now will receive the challenge and the calling to go to Africa to educate people about these things. Even if you don't go to Africa, it's my prayer that one day somebody will take this book up and do live broadcasts just on it, and do reviews. Or this book, Labor is Better Than Favor, and do reviews just on this book. Or on this book, Dignity of Labor. If we need as many people as possible talking about these things. I would not be talking about this thing because there's so many new things for me to talk about. So I'm done. I write the material, I put it out there, and I'm gone to another one. So we will need people to take over all these issues and educate people. If our people are not educated or enlightened, or people don't have what they call self-development by themselves, they don't discover these things, they will never be able to compete on world. They are going to remain like that. And we are going to be wasted as a continent, as a people, as a nation. We are never going to catch up. We are just going to think we are living life, but we are actually lagging behind and being wasted away. So we would need a lot of, maybe one thing God could help us to do, if the church, if there will be an open door for all these books to be introduced in schools, then we could move very fast and catch up with the rest of the world. So the whole culture needs to be changed. Or we might need to have, if we were to be in a position of government or influence in Nigeria, when I go to Nigeria, I plan to do this. We will need an enlightening program, enlightenment, propaganda, or education. So, I have a lot of plans on how to bring this to the ears of as many people as possible, so that we could adopt. But with the way we are so backward, it would have been good if we could get governors, politicians, to really put this on a national level. It will make us to wake up faster, and it will help us to galvanize our people to a giving goal and change and values faster. But right now, the way it's going to be extremely slow.
I think if we target all groups of people, we have the speed. With the help of God, we can speed up. What I meant by that is, if they target people locally, maybe older men, have an evening out with everybody, have a practical discussion, market people. If we have different group of people, not just on educational level, but people on the grassroots, showing them the video, talking to them on a community level, I believe there's still room for improvement.
Never dying spirit of Nigeria, positive. I think Grace wants to add to it. Yeah? No? Okay. Yeah. Matilda is here.
So this is what I'm thinking. Like, I wrote, like, it's not finished proposal, but I have this idea since I started listening to you, and with all this book, that's why I ordered a bunch of your books. I have a lot of them. Like, the project I'm thinking about, but they think that I'm crazy, like when I share my vision, what I have.
You need to be a little bit crazy to make a difference, really.
Yeah, so they say I'm crazy, you're out of your mind, like a couple of these Sierra Leoneans that I'm talking about what I want to do.
Only people who are crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so like my idea, I'm thinking of opening like a vocational institute, so have your books, like I have a bunch of them, like we all can do it for every nation. You open a vocational institute and just target a group, like youth. For me, youth in my country, because they are really broken in my country. So my desire is for the youth. By the grace of God, if God help me, but I have some battle that I have to cross. That's one of the reasons too I started taking social work too. So the vocational institute, like you can develop, like Pastor was saying, like the research center. So one will be like just teaching them, like so you take a book, like it doesn't matter. Like the little kids, you can start teaching them from little. Each person can target like a group. Like for the kids from, let's say from 7 till 11, and then from 12 to 24, and then the elder. Like we can do it if we all work together as a team. Like this goal it's reachable, I think.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful.
I don't know if I have the permission to take you back to yesterday's teaching, because we ended late, and that there wasn't. I believe you took that decision because you were seeing us a little bit strong. We were really, really strong yesterday. Now, looking at you, we've been saying it that religion has always been the problem, and that what has been the real problem, I mean the root of the problem there in Africa, not only in Nigeria, is this the church and the religion, most of those things that has brainwashed the people. Now, looking from the nations, I mean some of them that has been applying the Sharia law, because yesterday it was more or less introducing the 10 Commandments. Now, as I was saying, it could have been even good if in future we have that opportunity. That is, if they give you that opportunity to, teach the house of assembly. Taking it higher. Because that message was even, it's a blessing to us, and that we are opportune to hear it. But it should be something that one should take to a higher level, because that is where we can really achieve the real goal. Nigeria,
how to change a nation through
to 10 Commandments. Now, we have countries, we have nations that have been, I would say France, they have it as a model. US also has it as a model. And in Nigeria, I have an old friend, Pastor Bosun Ajayi, who came up with that some years back, and that he also was saying religion was the problem of Nigeria. That many of those papas also kicked against him and did everything to wipe him out from the surface. Now, if 10 Commandments, if it will be introduced, based on these teachings, what has 10 Commandments got that Sharia doesn't have? Because he was saying, and based on the teachings and many of the things he came up with, he said the foundation of Nigeria itself was a foundation on Sharia, and that secretly many of the things, either in our constitution, in the Nigerian note, the money itself, many of it are in Sharia. They are Sharia, and that was why many of the governors also have that boldness to go ahead and say, look, my own state wants to practice Sharia. Now, most of our Christian, whenever we have those Christian presidents, we don't always hear, they've never, I'm very sure, they have never come to know that 10 Commandments can also serve even more better purpose. So, what does 10 Commandments has more better than their so-called Sharia that we need to pass as a message to them? That is my first question, sir.
That's very interesting. Sharia talks a lot about details, especially when you talk about Sharia law. Sharia law is more like the Old Testament of what to do in every instance. Whoever steals, you cut off their hand. Whoever, does something, adultery, you stone them. Whatever, whoever does it. So Sharia is more like the implementation of the punitive measures for those people who violate. But the good thing with the 10 Commandments is that it doesn't tell you what to do or how to punish anybody. It's more preventive of evil. So the 10 Commandments are principles that will help you to prevent, do not steal. It's not saying, go and cut off the hand of somebody. It's more preventive. So it's saying that do not kill. It's just telling you things that will not be no good for you. Don't worship another God. Honor father and mother. Very neutral. Not saying what will happen or something. Just saying these things are not good for you. So that is a very good positive part of 10 Commandments. So what I would do is, like I said, those 10 Commandments, I put them in a secular format yesterday so that it doesn't sound religious. So we could now on our own, reframe it into secular laws and determine the kind of consequences, just like in the civil laws, that will be, that will come for the punishment of all those things, rather than using Sharia law that is so crude, in the form of implementation of foreign. So that is what I would say is the thing that the Ten Commandments has that Sharia doesn't have. It's more civilized, and it gives you the freedom to determine as a community and a society what punishment to mete out for what misbehavior, rather than telling you just that. Because if it had said it in the Ten Commandments that anybody that does this, that lost you quart of the year, that you will never be able to change it. Yeah. You will just say, well, the Bible has said it, or the Ten Commandments has said it. That's the problem the Muslims are having. The Muslims are having the problem with Sharia because it has told them that if you steal, that hand must be cut. And they cannot modify it or modernize it. They cannot now say, okay, we take that the part of it we don't say. But the good thing with Ten Commandments is that it just tells you these things are not healthy, they are not good for you, and these are the things to do to be good for you. So you now, as a group of people, that's why you now need your own parliament, or you now need your own legislation to now say, okay, what should we do to people who violate it? What punishment should we? So you still have your own, but this is just like a guardian for you. You're a guide to, yeah.
Thank you. Maybe the last one. We have countries like America that have it in some places, and
yes.
The Ten Commandments.
Yes.
They have it as a monument,
yes.
and that there has been war all along against this monument, and that some of them has already won cases that they should be removed from those places.
Yes.
In other words, some spiritual consequences. Now, you came up with a solution,
yes.
especially that of Africa, if they can apply this Ten Commandments. For countries that have been practicing such before, and that they are about, or maybe as they always say, majority carries the vote.
Yeah.
They are about to remove it. What is your, I would say, advice to them? Because we have a solution for those who do not have it at all. But those that have it already, what do you think might be the consequences of removing such from their law? Because we've been seeing how it has been helping them. I mean, practicing some of those things, even if it is not up to the level you explained yesterday.
That's a very serious question. It's a very, very serious question you just asked now. You don't even know how serious that question is. So what will happen and what are the consequences to nations that used to practice Ten Commandments and use Ten Commandments as the basis? Are you sure the camera is on me?
Yes.
Okay. So Babusha, you say it's yes. He's just doing it now. Okay. So, so what are the consequences? As if you are in the spirit. Because you are not aware, I'm sure, of the fact that I'm just finishing working now. I have my editor somewhere there, I don't know. Yeah, but don't worry. But I'm just finishing work, and I think maybe it will work out for us to be able to publish the book before you people go. Maybe you could get a copy of it. I'm just finishing it. I just need the editor to help me finish it. But I'm just finishing a book. I finished writing it already, just needed to clean it. But that is called Why Nations Die. So the Holy Spirit is moving you somehow, I don't know. Yes. And I want them to be able to finish that book. Is sufficient somewhere there? Success, my God, I said sufficient. Is it there? No? Okay. So, huh? Yeah, I wonder how you people got it. Because we need to release that book. We need to release that book for you people, at least you people are here, for you people to have the opportunity to have it. But it's going to be a thick book like that one. Where is there the big book there? Yeah, it's going to be like this. Why Nations Die. It's going to be as thick as this one, as big as this. So, but it's we have to send it to the publisher before you people go so that you can have it. So Why Nations Die is going to be 3 books like this. It's going to be in 3 volumes, 500 pages each. Maybe 600 pages each, yeah. Eh? So it's more serious than you thought. So the one I finished doing right now is volume 1. Then we'll do volume 2. Then volume 3. So the question you ask, for the nations that used to have the right principles, the biblical principles to build their nations on, and now they are removing it. Well, why nations die? Reasons why, yeah. What will happen to them? Number 1, the same thing will happen to them that has happened to the black race and Africa. If you read my book, How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe, can you believe it that Africans used to rule Europe for 700 years? History. Do you know that, almost any country of Europe and America you will find that black people used to rule. But nobody even remembers that today until you go and read that book and see the documents. I think I have that book somewhere there. How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. Okay. So, it should be, I saw it yesterday here somewhere. Ah, okay. Why don't you just let it be here all the time? How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. These are not my thoughts. These are archaeological documentaries and documents. Okay, you will see African traces everywhere. So why is it that right now there is even no remembrance of it? Because of what you have just asked. When people forsake the source of the living waters, when they forsake the source of life, and that's one of the reasons why I think that it will take a miracle of God for America not to fall, for example. Because if they are going to reject all those basic principles, the greatest empire, and I wrote about this in this country, Why Nations Die, the greatest empire that has ever lived is the Roman Empire. This is an empire that existed and reigned as the #1 country in the world for close to 1,000 years. A country, empire, reigning as the #1 country in the world, like America now. I mean, America is existing as a whole just for 200 years. And it's reigning as superpower, as #1 country in the world only after the Second World War. Only since the 50s or 60s. So that's how many years? 50 years? And I'm talking about 1,000 years. And still failed. Because principles are violated. So those things you are talking about, countries that remove these basic principles that this civilization is built on, these countries that remove those foundation of their own civilization, the countries might suffer the same fate as the black race has suffered. And in our own case, we later on embraced occultism. We embraced witchcraft. And that now led to the consequences of being sold out, scattered. Just the same destiny that happened to the ones who wanted to build the Tower of Babel. So they were anybody that wants to rebel against God like that. There is no way some punishment will not come or curse. You know, there will be reprisal. What do you call it?
Reprisal.
Is it reprisal? No. What was the word? Huh? There will be repercussions. And God will come to punish, like he scattered the something. Okay, for example, what was the problem of the Babel? What do you call it? The Tower of Babel. The problem was not because they had a vision. I mean, it's a good thing that they had a vision. Kate is looking for you. Okay, we need to finish that now, today. Okay, good. Go and do that so that we could, because another adate to Knigu Sivonia with specialty. Catholic, why countries fail. So when it finishes, you know, you send it to Kate, and Natalia, tell Kate that if success finishes today, the work it needs to do, we need to give it today to Aleona to finish today, so that we could be able to publish it for people, because I already mentioned it. Now that I've mentioned it, now I'm in trouble. So go and work. You are set free from all work here. Go and do what you need to do. So, the Tower of Babel, their main problem is not because God is jealous. Because if you read that story in the Bible, it says, because they want to attain to God. That's why God came to scatter them. It makes God look kind of like jealous, or God angry, or God doesn't want them to be ambitious. No, that's not the idea. Huh? No, God is not against them having one language too. The idea was that God gave them the whole earth, expanse of the earth, and say, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth. You leave the whole expanse and you want to go out there. What's wrong with you? How can you leave? God is saying spread. Go and conquer the whole place. So they were there in Israel. They didn't discover Africa. They didn't discover America. They didn't discover Europe. You want to go up. Well, you have expanse of land here, territory. You want to just stay here and go. What? I don't know if you get it. It is, they are screwed. So God is object. I gave you work to do. You want to go and do your own. What's your problem? Yes. Running from the direct responsibility of what you are supposed to do. So what I'm saying is that the same thing with the civilizations like this, like America or Europe. I mean, I think Trump is one of the greatest deliverance to America right now. Because if America had continued with the Clintons, Obama, even though the Clintons are my friend, but Obama and Clinton, those Democrats, I said, they were ready to make all countries legalize gay, homosexuality. They were putting so much pressure to legalize abortion in every country. If you don't legalize abortion, you will not get American help or help. If you don't legalize gay, you will not get. I mean, they were doing crazy stuff. They were turning this our world into Antichrist world. So that is the favor of God upon America that Trump was elected. So Trump, you know, he's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. He's a psychopathic narcissist. But he's the only kind of guy like that. Only narcissistic psychopath like him can be used by God to do the kind of thing he's doing. I don't know if you get it. You know, because all the normal people in America, they are too politically correct. All the normal politicians, they will not dare it. That's why God couldn't use any one of them. But someone who is narcissistic, psychopath, like he doesn't care. Any decision they take, that is what God can use. You need somebody who is rugged. You need somebody who is a little bit crazy, like I said. Somebody was saying, they would say I'm crazy. Don't be afraid of it. You need to be a little bit crazy to make something different. And so you say, so that is, I don't know if they will allow him to go all the way, because they are really fighting him. But if they had giving him the freedom, a little bit more freedom, that Trump, he would have returned a lot of things that the evil people have done against America and the world. So, but if they don't support Trump, if they remove him, if they succeed in overthrowing him, if America goes back to that way they were going before, then there will be nothing to save that country. I don't know. But so what are the reasons for the fall? Like I told you, I have 600-page book that will be released this week. Then 2 more 600 pages books will come after. Second volume, third volume will also come too. So meanwhile, at least that one, the first volume, you will see black and white, why nations die and why countries fail. Yes, sir.
No, I just wanted to confess what you said. Remember the pastor of India?
Oh, yeah. Sandu. Yeah.
He had given a prophecy, but no one has been made from nation to nation to save. And he said that the reason why, even before Trump was elected, it was like God told him that he was bringing Trump to the presidency. And that was even almost a year before the election. And he said, God said that the election of Trump is a window for the church in America to rise up. And that if the church fails to rise up while Trump is in office, once Trump is taken out, exactly what he said, then it's like...
Yeah, we should just pray that they shouldn't succeed in removing him, because, for example, I personally, I like better the manners of the lady, Hillary Clinton, more well-groomed, Obama well-groomed, well-spoken. I like their manners, civilized people. Huh? More civilized, yeah. I like them. But if you are in the spirit, if you are in line with the spirit of God, you don't just follow beautiful facade alone. You need to follow what God is saying in the spirit. And I think that Trump is God's mercy upon that country. And right now, I have been saying it for anybody who's been listening to my messages. I've been saying it. For me, if I were in America, I alone am enough to stop abortion in that country and prayer bring back to school. But you know what I discovered? This gun thing, the strategy I would have used in America, what I've always had in my mind, and I spoke about it one time here, that just mobilize people to walk out and boycott. That same strategy now is being used by the anti-gun, the parents, and there are some children that were killed in Florida or somewhere. And then the parents now are leading a campaign to change the law. That is exactly how to change a country. But the Christians are not supporting those parents right now. All the pastors and the Christians are supposed to come out and support them and walk out and do another civil disobedience that will lead, like Martin Luther King thing. That is how you change a country. But right now they are just looking at them because my child was not killed. Or even some Christians are bragging themselves that we didn't go out to march with the other children. We sit in for the gun, And Christians, they don't understand that if a country is killing itself like that, you need to change something. Oh, we know we want our guns. Well, you have your gun, but you not have your children. Something needs to change, but some people don't understand. But that's the same way you bring prayers back. That's the same strategy. That's the same way you stop abortion. But we need to be able to organize and have a effort, a united effort of Christians. But in America, people are too focused on building their own ministry. So everybody is building his own ministry. Sunday they like their ministry. You will say Chris Al ministry. So everybody just doing their own thing. But for you to really get the kingdom of God to come to that country, everybody is complaining, but nobody wants to pay the price of unity to be able to bring about change.
Yeah. And, I think, like,
and that is why you need someone like Trump. He will not wait for anybody.
No, like something you mentioned in your book. I think something you mentioned in your book. One of the major problems we have as Christians is fear.
Okay.
We are afraid. We like our comfort zone. We go to church. We are so bold. We shout. We speak in tongues and all kinds. But when it's time to actually step out,
out of that church,
you understand? We proclaim that we have faith without even having an understanding of what faith is. Faith, you cannot separate faith from boldness.
Yeah.
You cannot separate faith from
radicalism.
That radicalism. Faith, if you say you have faith, it must show.
In action.
Anywhere, it must show in action. You must be out there doing something. But we are so, like I said, my passion now is to destroy religious mindset.
Yeah, passiveness.
Is to destroy. I just hate religion with a passion now because I can see what religion has done to me in the past and to a lot of people. So that religious mindset, when we go to church, you see the boldness, the way people, the emotionalism people show. But once they step out of that building, like I was having a discussion with some other blacks in my office. So I called them for a meeting, and we were discussing rubbing minds together. And all of a sudden, the other two guys was like, hey, let's not be having this meeting every time. I said, why? He said, if they see us gather every time, they'll be wondering, what are these black people? I said, what's your problem? I said, the Chinese gather. The Chinese have meeting every day together. Nobody complains. The whites have meetings together. Nobody complains. I said, why is it that you are always allowing the color, this color of your skin, to rob you of your destiny, and you are so afraid? What are you afraid of? So it means as you are gathering now, they'll now say, you are gathering together, okay, you lose your job. I said, but that is why you are too passive. And that's why people can just step over you and do things to you anyhow. I said, but if you know who you are, you carry yourself. Like in my little department, I'm very quiet, I don't talk much, but people in my department know that I'm not the kind of person you step on. Because they just know. You understand? There's a limit, there's that boundary, and they don't cross that boundary. So I think we as Christians, we should begin to allow that, that faith that God has put in us, that fire that is burning. Let it not just burn. Let's not just burn within our little domain, because we see little pots of fire everywhere. Little pots of fire are burning, but nobody is seeing the light. Why not we pull those fires together and let one massive fire burn? You understand? You are burning there, this one is burning there, you are burning in your closet, you are burning in your office, but it's not making any effect. So I think that's the challenge we have. Christians are not speaking. You go, for example, when I came to UK, the first time I came to UK, before I came, I'd already been bombarded with a lot of information. When you go to UK,
brainwash.
You don't speak about God, though. Because I was like radical in Nigeria, I was preaching, I was going around talking to people, going to people's houses. But when I came to UK, that mindset that don't mention God. If you mention God, you're in trouble. You don't talk about God in your office. You don't. Or you can mention Allah. You understand? But when I was walking in the street, and I started seeing like Muslims talking to people, but one thing that gave me courage, I saw a man standing by the corner and boldly proclaiming the gospel, and nobody was going to harass him to say, what are you doing? I said, so it means that people can actually talk about God in public. So why are people not coming out? What's happening? Where is Christians? They're not coming out. That is our problem, fear. And when I read it in your book, I got one thing in one of your books that talked about...
Mention the name of the book because people want to know.
I think the one that say how to transform a nation through faith. Something. Yeah.
Faith.
I was just like kind of like speed reading it, but I came across one line when he talked about Neil Armstrong and the other guy that went to the moon. That went to the moon. It was a fraction of a second that separated them. Why? Because they announced to one of he was even the co-pilot. The other guy was the pilot. They announced. He said the eagle has landed. Okay, first pilot, step out. And he hesitated because of fear. He didn't know what will happen. Okay, I've not been to the moon before. Will something just come and yank me off? What if I burn or whatever? He hesitated. And they called the second pilot, and immediately he stepped out. And today, history remembers him as the first man that stepped on the moon, but he was the co-pilot. So the question, what I'm saying now is that as Christians, let's not hesitate. We have only one life to live. Yeah. Why not just be bold? Live the life. Just live it, because there's no second chance. And the day it dawned on me that, look, I have only one life to live, I said, God, I'm going to do everything I can do. It doesn't matter who hates me, who likes me, disown me, don't disown me, be my friend, don't be my friend. It's not my business. Because right now I'm living a fulfilled life. I'm happy, even if I'm alone.
Amen.
You understand? I don't need anybody to make me happy or anybody to make me fulfilled. Yeah. I'm just pursuing my vision. You understand? And that's what we should be doing. We are too scared as Christians. We can't talk. Some people, even to post something on Facebook, you are just in your own living room. Oh. You understand? Nobody is knocking on your door. You cannot post because, what will people say? How will people? Who cares? Who cares? You understand? The day you die and you stand before God, those people will not be there. So what is our problem as Christians? The Muslims are very bold. Too bold. Very bold. And yet they lack knowledge. You that have the knowledge, you have the power, you have the everything. Why not go there? Challenge them. Debate them. So,
I
think you just spoke to yourself.
Thank you.
That's God speaking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Matilda, I know you want to talk, but I wanted us to continue with the class. When do I finish the class today? When should I finish the class? 1:30. Okay, let's give you are the last one, then I have to go back to the class.
I won't be long. So when we're talking about it, it's like right now, like Canada is going through that. Like they're just making the Prime Minister, currently Prime Minister Trudeau.
Canada Prime Minister. Trudeau is another bad news.
It's just
bad
passing
news.
out laws that is against everything.
Just bad news.
It's just devastating. Like for example,
I think it's worse than Obama, I guess.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. Like and the churches are not doing anything. They're just whispering. It's like
whispering.
Talking. But they're not standing up. They're like, let's pray. It's like, what is prayer is going to do? Like, even my church, hopefully my pastor is not accurate, they hold prayers. We need to pray against this. Let's pray. Because this law's like, it's like, and then I go to, it's like, he thinks I'm crazy. Like, my pastor thinks I'm crazy, like I'm losing my mind. And they're basing it on, because she's divorced, separated, so they are, that frustration, that is what's happening to her. And then I'm looking at, no, I'm fine, I'm happy with my life. Like, it's not because I'm divorced, I have 2 kids I have to take care of. That is not what's happening to me.
Yeah.
But they don't get it. Like the Lord, even like why my pastor started talking and started preaching about it, because if you want to apply for internship into a church, now you have to sign and say that you agree to abortion and stuff.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even in my church, the same problem.
Yeah, you have to agree. If not that,
in Canada.
Church, the church cannot have a sponsor for internship. Yeah. Yeah, you have to sign. If there's no internship, they will not give you money for internship. Yes, that's how bad it is getting. Yeah.
Wow.
It is really getting bad. That's all I want to say.
I didn't know it's as bad as this.
It is. That's when my pastor started talking, going on Facebook, we have to do something about it. It's like, yeah, praying about it's going to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Now let's go back to the class. And the class today is how to change a nation through work, labor, diligence, and all that. Money, yeah. Yep. Okay, let's have a look at this video. Can you make it louder? Louder in the computer.
That is forcing Japan to take a hard look at its office culture.
CBS News Radio's...
Start all over again, please. From beginning.
A surge in work-related deaths is forcing Japan to take a hard look at its office culture.
CBS News Radio's Lucy Kraft has more from Tokyo.
Stop.
Years after...
So in Japan, people are dying out of working too much. Overwork. Because the culture of work is so ingrained that their own is too much. But in Africa, it's the opposite. We don't even have that culture or that danger of overworking. So we need to now learn from Japan, at least, to come to some extent, to some level of sanity. Okay, but let's have a look at it.
Losing his son, Itsuo Sekigawa is still in shock, grief-stricken and angry. Straight out of college in 2009, his son Satoshi proudly joined a prestigious manufacturer, but within a year he was dead. Investigators said the stress of working extreme hours drove him to take his own life. The young engineer fell victim to the Japanese phenomenon of karoshi, or death from overwork. An early day for him was going home at 9 p.m., his father says. If work wasn't finished, he'd stay until midnight. Young women are just as vulnerable. This month, state broadcaster NHK revealed one of its reporters, 31-year-old Miwa Sato, had died from heart failure after working near 14-hour days. It took 4 years for NHK to announce Sato's death. Her parents accused the network of a cover-up.
The reality is that in Japan, workers are working ridiculous hours. I think that's hard to deny.
American labor activist Louis Carlett says such sacrifice is seen as a virtue here.
There's a strong cultural norm that you have to devote everything to the company, and you're a corporate warrior, and I think that's what really pushes people over the edge.
Karoshi hits everyone from doctors and truck drivers to computer programmers and construction workers in Japan. Grieving father Sekigawa says while Americans work overtime to get ahead, Japanese work extreme overtime because they are forced to. Last year, just under 2,000 Japanese committed suicide for reasons linked to their jobs, a number that has remained stubbornly high for 2 decades. Families of karoshi victims say the government's proposal to cap overtime at 100 hours a month and exempt many professions.
Yeah, that's yes, drugoj, yes, что-то другое, какой-то другой фильм. Вчерашний, я сказал вчерашний показал. Вчерашний, что мы показали. Yeah, so that's one problem they have, but at least that culture of hard work has brought them to civilization and has brought them to the economic superiority that they have. Actually, what if Lucia is better? Tam nada wykluczyć. So, but in our own case, we are underdeveloped because we don't work hard enough. And we need to imbibe that culture. And it has to be intentional. Okay? You have the slides? Yeah, let's continue with the slides meanwhile. Where is it?
For a nation to be great, it must have a deeply rooted culture of work. That is a national consciousness that encourages the love for work.
Yeah, next one.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 9.
When you are ready with the next video, let me know. Когда следующее видео будет готово, бабуша. Когда следующее видео будет готово, дайте мне знать.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 9. He who is slothful in his work is a brother to him who is a great destroyer.
Yeah, that's why the nation is being destroyed. The continent is being destroyed because of slothfulness. Yep.
For example, America, they reward labor very well, thereby encouraging the work culture of their people.
That's what we spoke about today and yesterday, that people are having less holidays in America than any other country, but still people want to work because the propagation has successfully been done. And but in our own culture, we have so many holidays, but still people are still, even the work time, they are still using it for partying. Yeah.
The communists paid less. The communists paid less, but built a very strong reverence for work, thereby creating a whole work ideology that put everyone to the factory.
I told you about the communists, that they have police. They use not propagation, but legislation to make people work hard. Yeah.
Proverbs chapter 24, 30 to 31. I went by the field of the lazy man, and by the vineyard of the man devoid of understanding. And there it was, all overgrown with thorns. Its surface was covered with nettles. Its stone wall was broken down.
Yes. Ты должна смотреть на что читают.
When there is no work ethics in a nation, there is waste, negligence, ignorance, and no maintenance culture.
Надо смотреть на экран.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to tend and keep it.
You see, even God himself created that culture for people in the Garden of Eden. The only culture he gave them was the culture of work. Even before the culture of worship. Because God only came to see them in the evening. That was their worship time. In the cool of the day. But apart from that, the whole day, all the time, the culture that God gave them was the culture of work. So work is our nature. Work is supposed to be our culture. Work must be embraced. We must not look at work as a curse. Work is God's nature. Because this was before the fall, This was before the sin, the fall of man. And God put them in the Garden of Eden and said to work, to tend the garden and to cultivate it and to keep it. So God wants us to be like that too. Work should be our second nature. And I am personally surprised at the way I see people respond to my work ethics. When people don't even know how much I work here. They just see something on the internet that I'm busy all the time, and they think, oh, that's too much. I said, so if you are surprised at the way I work, so it means you work less then. That's why you are surprised. So if you are working less, then why are you surprised that I have the result that you don't have it? Because you cannot have greater, superior results if you don't work very hard. So it should be normal for everybody to work at least 18 hours a day. At least anybody who wants to become somebody, who wants to become excellent. Is it Emerson that says that some people talk about luck. I don't know, but I discovered that when I work 18 hours a day, I always have luck. I always have good luck. But I'm only working like everybody else, 8 hours, no luck comes. Yeah, why am I unlucky? That book, that's where I write it. I wrote in that book too. So we are unlucky because you are not working 18 hours a day. Once you begin to work 18 hours a day, you will not need deliverance. You will not need breakthrough. Automatic prosperity. You will not need men of God to lay hands on you. You will not need the apostle of prosperity or anything. You know, you will have breakthrough automatically. So when I begin to work 18 hours a day, I begin to have breakthrough. Vegatove Linet.
However, looking at God's relationship with man, we could see in Genesis 2:15 that the first instruction God gave man was to walk. Despite the fact that
that's not just the first instruction, that's the first culture. Because it's not just something to do, instruction, just do that and that's it. No, it was like the lifestyle. It was the first lifestyle that was given to people. Work must be a lifestyle. Must be the culture of any civilized person. Okay?
Despite the fact that he had given the man everything in the garden.
So everything was already in the garden, yet they still needed to work. So work is not necessarily for survival. Because in the Garden of Eden, we could see that they were not working for survival. They already had survival. They already were alive. They already had everything they had. So for us to now be working for survival is to defeat the purpose of work. So work is never meant for survival. And we shouldn't be working just to survive or make a living. We should be working for the same purpose that work was established in the Garden of Eden. Right?
Genesis chapter 2, verse 8 to 14. The Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it parted and became 4 river heads. The name of the first is Fishon. It is the one which skirts the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. Bedlam and the onyx stone are there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one which goes around the whole land of Cush. The name of the third river is Hiddekel. It is the one which goes towards the east of Assyria. The fourth river is the Euphrates. Gold, onyx, all natural resources were there, yet they themselves are not sufficient to sustain man.
So the natural resources were there, but the natural resources and the blessings by themselves are not sufficient to sustain man. Man needed work. It is the work that brings meaning to the resources. It is the work that brings implementation and fulfillment to the gold, to the onyx. You need to work to make it a product. It is work that turns all the blessings into a product. It is the work that turns the gold into the pensions and earrings and things. It is the work that turns the onyx into building materials. It is the work that turns all the blessings into something. So work itself is superior to natural resources. So if a nation will be blessed with natural resources, but not with good culture of work, it will still remain poor. Because even in the Garden of Eden, where they had all these natural resources that we are talking about, they could still not benefit man until man worked with it. So it doesn't matter what natural resources you have. If you don't have the culture of work, you don't have anything. And then if you have natural resources, if you don't have natural resources, but you have the culture of work, natural resources will flow to you from places where they have them. So you see, everything is in the Bible. In the Garden of Eden, they have all the resources, but God still said the culture of work must be supreme. So for us to think about development, civilization, and progress for our nation and Africa, it must be a whole informed, intentional effort to develop and cultivate a whole culture of work. So how do we cultivate it? Either through legislation, like communists did, or through propagation. And through propagation, we need to involve media, we need to involve Nollywood, we need to involve education, we need to involve churches, schools, service, all. It has to be thorough and concerted, holistic effort. That is how you can make the whole culture to change and embrace the culture of work. Okay?
The man was still instructed to work, verse 15, cultivate and keep, develop and make productive.
Every man, can you imagine? For me, for example, in my own understanding, the purpose of government is to be able to put a system in place that every citizen that is an adult citizen of the land will have some productivity. Unless he's a dependent or an handicap. Otherwise, everybody must be productive. Then, not like in Nigeria right now, who are the people we call Nigerians? I think we are not more than 20% of the people who, because Nigeria, only 50% can even read or write. So 50% is already up. Out of the people, 50% that can read and write, how many of them have degree? How many of them, you know, those ones who can read and write, 30% of them are just secondary school or primary school. So the ones we are really calling, so the potential of the country that are really, informally building the society, maybe they are between 5 to 20% maximum. But can you now, imagine a situation whereby we develop 100% literacy and we bring skills to 100% of the population? Of course, I know that there are unskilled laborers, the little farmers and the petty traders who are not educated, but what is that? Can you imagine if their capacity is developed fully, like European countries? I mean, we are living on wealth. If right now we are only having 20% of the country, the rest working, and the rest, they are the ones carrying the weight of all the 80% of the others. And still, we are still alive. We are still surviving. Can you imagine when 50% of the country will be educated, will be literate, we have human capacity development, and we, have skills, and we'll be contributing to the economy, and we have the culture of work? The future of the world is in Africa. Yes. But somebody needs to put that in place. Because right now, Nigeria, do you know that Nigeria has a bigger economy than Switzerland right now? If you tell many people that Nigeria has a bigger economy than Switzerland, they will say you are a liar. Do you know that Nigeria has a bigger economy than Belgium? Nobody will believe you. Do you know that Nigeria right now has a bigger economy than 80% of European countries? But nobody will believe it. And you don't need to believe it. Let me show it to you. And I think I'm going to give you people. You cannot. You want to do it? Okay. Galina, please come here. Let me give you the material so that you get it ready for the. No. So I'm going to show you so that you know I'm not lying. This is with only 20% of the country functional, and no electricity. Nothing works. But we see, because of the resources that God has put in Africa, thanks to all that, we still somewhere. Right now, Nigeria is number 24 or 22 strongest economy in the whole world. Wow. And in Europe alone, you have 50 countries. Wow. So if we're already number 26 out of the whole world, not out of Europe, but out of the whole world, we're already overtaking most of the countries in Europe. And so what will you tell me that but this is with nothing working. What about if something will work? At least one thing. What about if I will go back there? What about if I begin to make this value system go around? What do you think will happen? So this without anything. No internet or what? Okay. So, because what I'm saying right now, people will just think it's just bragging, just making mouth.
23rd largest in terms of purchasing power, 30th largest in terms of GOP.
You
GDP.
see? You see? 23rd largest in terms of
purchasing power.
Yeah. Yeah. That GDP by purchasing power. You know. So that is what, according to what statistics? What source? Is that World Bank or CIA?
I'm looking it up. This is Wikipedia, but let me see what their source is. They're quoting from 5 different sources.
Okay. No, but they will have different ones. What did you say, brother? What is EF? Oh, IFM. IFM. Okay. Okay. What is IFM saying?
Nigeria, let's say 27
in GDP, 27, right? In the world.
Yes.
Out of all the countries.
Yes.
Okay.
In 2017.
Yeah.
And also in 2016.
Number 27.
CIA World Factbook.
CIA.
Yeah.
Okay, what number? Oh, no, country by process.
23 in purchasing power and 30 in GDP.
You see? So, but if you tell somebody else that, nobody will believe you. That Nigeria is 28 or 27, number 23rd in the world. When you have 50 countries in Europe, you would think all of Europe is better, all of America is better. Or no. But what about if we get some things going? It will be just fantastic. Okay. All right. So you have the video ready? Okay, let's look at one of the videos here about work. Что ты сказала? Ты сказала готово. No, leave the light. Don't worry about it. It's this light. Okay, let's go. Let's look at the video here. This video is about the work culture and how countries are influenced by their work culture. That development of nation depends on the culture of work and labor. Any country that pulls down labor is poor, but the ones that value labor and work, they become developed. So we saw this yesterday, but let's have a look again.
For the record,
I'm not okay with this.
I'm not either. Hey, if you've been planning a summer vacation, you know how difficult it is to schedule time off from work.
Unlike Europe, there is no law guaranteeing American workers any vacation time at all. Channel 4 Action News reporter Sheldon Ingram shows us.
You would think that is horrible, that is bad. No law that guarantees workers any vacation at all. I mean, if you say that in Europe, the end of the world, end of the world, end of the world. That is like Gestapo. That is like saying Gestapo. No, leave it. Don't show me. Show the screen. That is like Gestapo. No law guaranteeing vacation. But do you know why America did that? And nobody is complaining. Because the people don't even know. Because they have been brainwashed well. They have been brainwashed to be addicted to work. Because they are interested in economic growth. Now, they don't think about people. People is second place. But at least they build a big economy and a great country. Because they are thinking more of the greatness of their country than individuals something. So, but of course, if we put it by God's standard, that is horrible. Because God's standard is that is one of the 10 commandments. You know, Sabbath. We spoke about it yesterday. Every country. Okay. Every country must have a guaranteed period or time of Sabbath, of rest. Every country. That is God's standard. But when it doesn't have it on the level of constitution, it means any worker or any company can decide either to give you or not to give you. Either you can choose. They could say, if you don't want to go, and since you want to make money, since you don't want to be fired, you have to agree to whatever they offer, or you don't find another job. But you cannot demand and take the company to court and win, because there is no law. You cannot demand and take your employer to court and win. They will just say, okay, if you don't want it, fire, you resign, or you only make such a money, or we cannot guarantee you pay back. So, you know, you can go, but we will not pay you. But in Europe here, it's guaranteed pay. No dollar will be reduced for 6 weeks. But Mommy, you want to say something?
Oh, no, sir. I just want to buttress what you said, that even when they retire.
Sorry?
After retirement, you see them picking up other jobs.
No, leave.
At whatever age, maybe after 65 they retire, they still go pick up another job.
Wow.
And if they cannot pick up a job, you see them doing volunteering work. They don't sit.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And that is good.
Even at age 70.
Wow. That is what we need in Africa. It is the direct opposite in Africa. We're not working. We're not working. We don't have the culture of work. And the few people that are working is just about 20% of the country, because it's not a culture, it's not a demand, it's not even a need for people in Africa. People rather want to escape work. People want to run away from work, and that's why, of course, we must have a balance. Like I like the European system better, because Europe, you know, they put the culture of work is there through propagation. People see the need to work and they work hard, but they also have holidays and time for vacation, which is guaranteed by law. Which is guaranteed by law. But what is happening in the only country that is worse than America is Japan. And in Japan, they are dying. Because in Japan, it's more like, it's not just the propagation, the culture, and everything demands from them to do it. But let's continue.
But America has Sabbath.
Sabbath on Sundays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Just how hard it is to take a break. We're inside of a travel agency, and according to a recent study, a lot of people are not traveling because they simply cannot take advantage of the limited number of vacation days they have each year. We couldn't find anyone with more than 4 weeks vacation. Most have to settle for 1 to 3 weeks, even with longevity on the job. How much vacation time do you get a year?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
How long have you been at your job?
10 years.
How many weeks of vacation do you get?
I get 2.
You get 2 weeks?
Yes.
How long have you been at your job?
6 months.
A human resource company called Mercer says industrialized companies mandate that employers offer at least 4 weeks of paid leave. But companies here in the United States don't have.
You say mandate 4 weeks vacation in developed countries. So all the developed countries have not just guaranteed, but mandated. You have to go. You have to go for at least 4 weeks. But it's in the law. Wow. They will force you to go. Wow. Eh. But in America, no 1 day guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed for you. Yeah, that you have to go and work, holiday. That is how much productivity is so elevated over there. I mean, it's a extreme. That is an extreme. But in Africa, we have the other extreme, where you don't have to. Even if you go to work in Africa, you go and just register and just disappear. And go and say your father died, your brother died, your sister is marrying, your uncle is wedding, or something is wrong, gone. So it's the opposite we have in Africa. Everybody just doing what they want. But we must have a culture that promotes hard work and diligence. And it must become the culture. We must all campaign for this.
Now, in Sweden, the highest pay is during the 5 weeks of vacation.
No! They pay you more when you go on vacation than when you are working.
12% extra.
What? No! 12% extra. Okay, let's go.
To offer any paid leave, but that seems to be okay with some members of the Pittsburgh workforce. A recent study published in the Journal of Happiness found that Americans are happier working than Europeans.
Well, yeah, in Europe they get off like 6 weeks.
Stop. You say Europe gets 6 weeks of holiday, apart from the guarantee 4 weeks. They can get up to 6 weeks. But they are still not happy. Because Uncle Sam is too much on them. But Americans are happier, even with 2 weeks, or with not even getting holidays at all. Now, what makes America happy is because of the system itself. You know, America, they have more faith, they have more, like, you know, one American just said, Rory just said now that America has Sabbath in a different way. Not during vacation, but they go to church. But Europe, they don't go to church. Yeah, 90% of Europe doesn't go to church regularly. So what does that mean? Emptiness. They cannot be happy. But America is the most religious country in the world out of all the developed countries. It's the most religious country. And the most Christian country too. So that compensates a lot. What they don't have in physical rest, but they have spiritual. So that's a little bit of something for them, yes. But the socialists there, the people in the extreme, they are not happy too in America. Because they don't believe in God too. So they are so frustrated.
Yes, they take off for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wish you had it like that?
No, I think we have it better around here than they do in Europe.
Stop. He said, how much holiday do you have? 2 weeks. But he himself said, but in Europe they have 6 weeks. He said, do you want us like in Europe? He said, no. 2 weeks is okay. Yeah, we are better off. You see, that is how they have been conditioned that work is a blessing. They said it's better for work. Even though they will be paying you for 6 weeks. No. Let them lost pay. We want to go and work. That is what we should do in Africa. Go ahead.
Inside Nakama Japanese restaurant, Chef Luke Bursick gets 2 weeks vacation and he's been here for 8 years. But that's okay with him.
To be honest with you, it's fair for me. I mean, I like to work. I've always worked, and you know, too much time off for me kind of gets me lazy.
In the restaurant business,
you see you see the mentality? Even 2 weeks, he said, oh, that's okay. You don't have one more rest? No. You see, the culture, that is what we need in Africa. Go ahead.
Lose bundles and tips while on vacation, so they'd rather work.
Essentially, you know, they'll take 2-week vacation, but they want to come back faster because they
have 2 weeks vacation, but they want to come back before the end of the 2 weeks. They don't want to go for that 2 weeks even. Go.
Make more money in tips.
But for others, that European lifestyle sounds pretty cool. If you could get 4 to 6 weeks, would you take it?
Yes, indeed, I will. And that's what I'm striving for. The longer I stay, the more I get.
Sheldon Ingram, Channel 4 Action News.
You see what he say? He's striving for it. The longer I stay at work, maybe they will give me more vacation. It's not like a law. It's not guaranteed. All right, but you know, like what the reason why I'm showing this is just to show us that any nation that becomes developed, they have to be serious about getting their people to work. The culture, it has to be a culture. It has to be, you know, legislated or propagated, anyone you want it, anyhow you want it. But we've got to make work celebrated and the most important thing in society. Okay, let's go back to the notes.
The reason is God was making a point. Work is essential for...
Go back a little bit so that we could connect where we're coming from. Yeah.
The man was still instructed to work, cultivate and keep, develop and make productive.
Let's go back one more. Okay.
Gold...
one more. Yeah. No, it's already. No, let's go back forward. That's too much.
Gold, onyx, all natural resources were there, yet they themselves are not sufficient to sustain man. The man was still instructed to work, cultivate and keep, develop and make productive. The reason is God was making a point. Work is essential for existence. It's part of his reasons for putting us here.
Stop. Part of the reasons for putting us here is work. So for a pastor to now be coming to say, if they feel like sleeping, let them sleep. Because they might be having jet lag and health issues. So don't wake them up. Because, you know, just let them recover. So anyway, so one of the reasons why God put us here, really, is to work. And pastors are now coming around to say, work is a curse. Excuse me. Go ahead, please.
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 13. Do not sleep, lest you come to poverty. Open your eyes, and you will be satisfied with bread. Work is not only because of money, because work has more to offer than money.
Beautiful. That's why I wrote that book. Money won't make you rich. Yeah.
What work can offer? 1. Firstly, we work to realize the hidden potential in us.
Beautiful. Is that not great? I work for myself. So even if you don't pay me anything, I work for myself. You know, when I started doing this, my live broadcast, people would normally come and say, I want to be paying my tithe to you. I said, you want to pay your tithe to me? Good. So I said, go ahead, but don't give me, take that tithe, put it aside, and use it. What is the calling? What is the burden that you have in your heart? Go and assume that you are paying to me, but go and use it yourself. I'm dedicating, you to go and use it, to go and fulfill the passion that God has put in your heart. Just assume that you are using it like that. Or do you know anybody that is unfortunate and around you that is less privileged? What's your mom? How much do you give to your mom? How much do you give to your sisters and brothers? No, not much. Go and use my tithe. Go and use it to take care of those people. Because when we, even if you are not getting money, what I'm trying to say is that what I'm doing, by doing the broadcast, I don't need money for it. I don't need you to pay me tithe for it. You see? What did he say? When you work, you realize the hidden potential in you. So I'm working for me, not for, even though he's blessing you too, but he's blessing me first. So for pastors now to be coming with all these kind of doctrines like faith offering, prophet offering, and all kind of ways to make people give money to them, either they don't understand that whatever they are doing for others and any kind of work is a blessing to you, first of all. You don't need to demand people or manipulate people or twist people's hands to give you money or to take their money away from them. Okay, let's continue.
2, we work to release or discover the potential of the earth.
Yes, we work to discover what is already in creation, what is in the resources of the earth, in what God has created. We work to unleash it. For example, if there is oil in your country, without work, that oil will never, you will never extract it. If there is gold, without work, that gold will never become something. Will never become commercial. If there is diamond, without work, you will never cleanse it to be able to make it to become something valuable. Ujeżdżajcie? Na 5 minut? Nie, na wесь мир показывали. Прямой эфир идет, прямой эфир. Обнимать, можно сюда прийти и обнимать и все. So it is a way for us to discover and to unveil all the riches that God has put in creation. So everything God put in creation. I'm sorry, this is a family that comes to help us here, and they are going back. They have not seen me since they've been in the house for a week. Yes, and they have to leave back to Russia. So, спасибо. Давай. Elisha. When we talk at this attack, that should make the government is Naboshe, everybody was saying that. I'm sure. It's vintage to start pollution of the Etotras. Sleduche, as you do some controller of as much prayer. Miss you. That's with that. All right. Where did I stop? I lost it. Where was I? Okay. It is through work. Only through work you can unveil and unleash all the resources of the earth and of nature, of air, of the planet, of the galaxies, of the space, of, of nations, everything. All, as you are sitting down there now, there are a lot of hidden resources, riches in you. It is work that will release it. So that's why I was using the example of not taking money from people. Because when, just like I told you about the oil, or about the petrol, or gas, or diamond, or gold, that are hidden in the ground, and it takes work to bring them out. Same with you. There are even more wealth and riches in you as a human being. But the amount of work you do is what unveils them. The more I write books, the more I discover more topics. The more I preach, the more I generate more. So there are many more things in us than the raw materials in the soil. And the only instrument God has come up with to be able to discover, unleash those resources and wealth in you as an individual is work. So as you are sitting down there right now, you are closed to him. So many of those things are closed in you. I have a book that is called How to Discover Your Hidden latent energy. Latent energy. That's about it. Another one I have like that. So, you know, maybe you have all of you, maybe you have discovered 1%. So when people come to me and say, oh, Pastor, face your business. I have a book that's called also Pastor, Face Your Business. They want to face your calling, yeah. Just face your calling. Just do that thing. They don't know what I know. I know that I'm like that soil in Niger Delta that is full of all these things. And you say, no. Don't go and cultivate everything. Just face your calling. Just do one thing, little thing that is coming naturally. When everything is packaged, for you to know the indication, for you to know, to have what do you call prestavlene, to have what do you call to have prestavlene? For you to have an understanding of what is in you, of what is hidden in you, always think about the amount of cells in your body. That is to that level, to that extent, to that magnitude, and your potential. So for somebody to now say, face your calling, and you only do that little thing there, they are killing, they don't love you. Because the variety is like the sand of the sea, of the resources and potential. Because the amount of cells in any human being, they are like in the billions. So the varieties and the possibilities of what you could do, they are like those cells. Because every cell you have in your body is a living organism. And as long as it is living, it means it has life in itself. And anything that has life has potential. So if there are billions of them that have life, there are billion different ways you could realize yourself.
37 trillion.
Wow. Cells in one man. So that is to let you know how much resources are in you. And the only way God has given for you to unleash that is through work. Either it is mental work, or it's spiritual work, intellectual work, or it is physical work. Only through work you can unleash and discover even those things. So we continue. You read that again, please. Yeah.
We work to release or discover the potential of the earth.
Yep.
3, we work to multiply resources. 4, we work to provide for self.
Wait. Let's go back to the previous one. We work to multiply
resources.
Resources, yes. Anything that you see as a resource, that is only fruitfulness, you see.
Yeah.
No matter how big it is, no matter how vast it is already, if it's available, if it's visible, it's only on the level of fruitfulness. Because all those things that are not yet seen are always greater than whatever you see right now. That is why anything, any product, anything you see at all could be multiplied. And you must work for its multiplication. And beyond multiplication, God even expects us to even dominate, subdue with whatever you say. So there is no explanation for you to say you only have fruitfulness and you just maintain that, sit down there and just no excuse. For you to say you have fruitfulness, you are fruitful in one thing, and you just, okay, let's say you are pastor in a church, And that's the only thing you could do. No excuse. You must think of multiplying it. Let's say you have a salary, $1,000, and you say there's nothing more you can do. No excuse. You can use that 1,000 and use it to create some. Go and give education to people in Africa. That's multiplication. So everything has the potential for multiplication. So let's say you say, I've only written one book. There's no excuse for you to say that's the only thing you can do. Even if you cannot write another book, turn that book you have written, turn it into games or into training manuals or into... There are always ways and means to multiply. Anytime you say that there is nothing you can do more to multiply, that means that you yourself have stopped growing. When you keep on growing, you will always see ways and methods of multiplying anything you have in your area and your surrounding. So everything, that is work, but the only way to multiply is only through work. Only work multiplies. And only through work you can multiply. Either mental work, intellectual work, physical work, spiritual work, but only work multiplies. Okay, next one.
4. We work to provide for self, others, and the nation.
All right, so remember, you work not just for yourself or for your own sake. You work to provide for your family. You work to provide to be a blessing to others. You work to be a blessing to humanity. You work to be a blessing to the kingdom of God. You work to be a blessing to your nation. And of course for yourself. Yeah.
You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for.
Beautiful. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for. Excellent.
Five, we work to have access and possibilities.
Beautiful.
Life is a field of unlimited possibilities.
Yep.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 29. Do you see a man who excels in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before unknown men.
I'm just thinking of my country. Can you imagine if we could teach our country to work like this? We will not be small. We will not be poor anymore. So all those people say Africa is poor, let's have pity and mercy on Africa. Well, I think, Africa needs to think about herself. Africa needs to put the right principle in place. Africa needs to begin to, apply the right principle like other countries have applied. We don't need pity, we need to work. We need to stop pitying ourselves. We need to begin to be tough with ourselves. Africa needs tough love. Africa needs tough reality. And Africa needs to, we need to take ourselves by the by the neck, if you want, and get ourselves to work and not pity ourselves and not be waiting for help from the Western world or developed world. They have to work to build their own countries too. And it's our time to work to build our country. Yes, please.
6. Work brings increase of everything.
You see, that's a beautiful thing with work. If we have little thing now, no problem. If we work enough, it will increase. Yes, please.
Proverbs 13:11. Wealth gained by dishonesty will be diminished, but he who gathers by labor will increase.
You see, the only wealth that will be sustainable are not the ones that are gotten through deception, but through labor. If you work hard for it, you'll be able to keep it. But if it comes through deception, well, you are going to lose it eventually. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of so-called wealthy people in Africa, they cannot sustain their wealth because they got it through corruption. Because it is when you work, you get skills enough to be able to sustain what you got. But if you steal it or you just got it by blessing, you cannot keep it because you don't have the skills, the skill sets to keep them. Okay?
7.
It's just like saying, this is my house here. This is my house. You know, if somebody, before, when I was stupid, if anybody comes and say, I want to give you this house, I would have said, God has blessed me. Nonsense. But now, if anybody said, I want to give you this house, I will say, don't give me, I don't need it. But if you go to most people in churches and say you want to bless them with this house, they will take it. They will not think that it is a headache you bless them with. Because it takes $15,000 just to maintain this house every month. $15,000 US just for it to function. So how will you go and receive it from me for you to bless me with a house that I will have to spend $15,000 to maintain every month? You want to give me bankruptcy? You want to kill me? I will go to jail. Because it takes you a level of, you have to be ready for blessings. But a lot of people, they are just wishing for blessings. But you don't have what it takes to maintain that something. You cannot maintain it. You're not prepared for it. So it's not just about blessing. It's about working enough, knowing the skills, having the work level to be able to have the resources that you will need to be able to maintain the blessing that you're asking for. So, but a lot of people just want to be blessed. Okay, you get the blessing, but the blessing will kill you because you don't know how to sustain it. It's just like somebody came, somebody has given me a plane before, airplane. Yes. Somebody gave me an airplane before. And why the whole church, and the person announced it to my church, why the whole church was rejoicing that I was given a plane, I came to the stage, took the microphone, and I said, I don't want it. Because by that time, God has helped me to know that it takes $40,000 just to pay for 1 day of parking. Every day that you park your car, you park your plane, you pay $40,000 US for it. Just to park. Just for you to sit down in your territory. So from the place it is being sitting down right now, it used to be the headache of the person giving it to me. That headache will become my own headache from the day I accept it. That's where all the tithe and offering is going to.
That is where our tithe, you have to pay air tax.
Yeah. But if you want to take maintenance with it, then it's going to be $4 million a year, including maintenance. Yeah, $4 million US a year, just to own a plane, even if it is gift. So I said, I don't want. That's how I escape, and I escape with my head. My head is still in place because of blessing. Okay, here we go.
7. Work brings wealth. Proverbs 13:4. The soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made rich. 8. Work enables you to bless and provide for others.
Yep.
9. Work gives you the possibility to give to God, man, and nation. National Heroes Day.
Yeah.
So one of the greatest things a government could give its citizen is the sense of work, or what we call the work ethics.
Yeah, or the dignity of labor. Yeah.
If any government succeed in eliminating slothfulness, then wealth and riches will be the portion of that nation. Proverbs 28:19. He who tills the land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows frivolity will have poverty enough. Encouraging the citizenry to be industrious are essential to the prosperity of the nation. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 18. Because of laziness, the building decays, and through idleness of hands, the house leaks.
Yeah.
Laziness will wreck any economy, no matter the amount of natural resources is available in that nation.
Yeah.
Laziness, mother of all evil.
Wow. So let's. Why is the video that I said? I mean, great video, Katore. Uje Gatobe. Let's have a look at of Nigeria, like I said, where Nigeria is standing in terms of economy, and you'll be surprised what countries are behind Nigeria, economically speaking. And you are going to be shocked. What are the countries Nigeria economy is bigger than? This is without anything. So just for you to know how blessed the country is, just by itself, without anything working. And every one of you will agree that there is even no culture of work. It has not become a culture. Nobody has even worked on it yet. So, but if we will put all these principles in place, things will run faster, things will work out, and we'll be able to climb up very, very fast. But we need somebody to be able to bring this understanding and and inculcate it in the fabric of the society. The fabric of the society. Okay. Are we ready? You have to start all over again, madam. So countries ranked by GDP, all right? PPP, GDP. Attention, te deset. Samo deset luces de se lustolo. Skoka i te smotrela, skoka zdez. Ne, nada defse, ili de do piti deseti ili skoka. Di deset de. Zez deset oka. No, zez nationals deseti. Toka smotrel deset.
When you all see PPP, it means purchasing power parity. Comparison.
Let's try the
This one. GDP growth.
Z. I thought I show bruises, huh? Stop. Can you say it? You couldn't say it? Go back, go back. Remove the volume so that we can read it. Okay, stop. So there are different levels. Oh, we needed to see that now. I said stop, which means you have to stop so that phrase it. Okay, this here. So when we talk about GDP, you have nominal. Nominal is just flat. It's just like saying flat GDP, whatever the country produces. Then you have GDP per capita. Per capita, it means how much wealth every citizen has. That is where Africa and Nigeria is at the bottom. Then GDP PPP means how much altogether wealth is in the country. Not just the GDP nominal. GDP nominal is without the activity. That's just what you produce. But the purchasing power authority talks about how much wealth that is there. Not just what you produce. For example, in Nigeria, we could produce just for 500 billion. But because apart from what we produce, the Nigerians in diaspora send another 30 billion. And then there are other things that we don't count as being produced, but we have petty traders, petty farmers, all those kind of everything. That will be PPP. So then, yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's see what they have here. Play now. So GDP nominal. United States, Japan. Oh, it's too fast. Okay, let it go. Stop. Let's do the other one. So you see that there are two places there where you see Nigeria, right? So one was 23 and one was 16? 15. Okay, so what are those? When you then there are some where you don't see Nigeria at all. So where is it you don't, because they are only talking about the top 25 here. So where are the ones you don't see Nigeria? You will never see Nigeria in per capita. Anything per capita, you never see Nigeria there. Per capita is when you divide the wealth by all the people living there, then we are just at the bottom, yeah. But when you talk about the economy, the GDP, Nigeria will be there. Then when you talk about the PPP, by the amount of wealth in the land operational, Nigeria is even higher. So those are the places where, what I'm just saying is, if we are not even having anything in place, can you imagine the potential of that, of the African continent? 25, 16, 23, 15. Where are the other countries? You know, if we get things right, we could get to the first 10 very fast. You see. Okay, let's see this one. Even if it is work ethics alone we have, you know, it will make a difference. Yes. So these are the richest countries in the world per capita, yeah. So these are per capita. Let it play, let it play. And they play the beat, close to the bed. То, что я сказал, что не надо первое, это то, что я просил. Откуда вы это нашли? Я же то сказал, что то первое, теперь вы же два мне сказали. Включи звук, пожалуйста. Да, звук надо включить. Even на весь экран надо сделать. Okay, stop. What we are showing, what I stopped was per capita, which means it's going to be showing countries like the richest countries per capita. But right now, this is just per economy. Right, let's see the economy one. France is number 10. Ты сказала, что ты только дети. UK. All these countries that are developed, they have strong work ethics. It's all based on work. Brazil, number 8, 3 trillion. So Brazilian economy is bigger than UK economy now. And it's bigger than France. You see, all those countries, they have potential. And they're already overtaking Europe already. And they are a period that I wrote. Period issue. I can't see what I'm looking for. More forward. All right, put on the light. Включите света. So any country that is big on GDP or economy is only based on hard work. You will see the culture, they have the culture of work. And without it, we're going nowhere. So that's the end of the teachings. I was listening to you. We have 15 minutes to hear your feedbacks on today's teachings on the importance of work, creating money, diligence in wealth creation for the country. So what do you think? What do we need to do? What are you learning? What are your conclusions after these teachings? Yes, sir.
I think it's fascinating how much potential is in each person. There's 200 different kinds of cells in each one of us.
200.
And there's 37 trillion estimated total cells. So based on what you're saying today, each one of us would have 200 different directions we could go.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody wants to say something? Yeah, please.
I'm thinking of Nigeria there.
Can you come here so that they could show you? You have the light now.
Even the knowing and the understanding. even the knowing and the understanding alone is liberty
Okay.
for me as an individual. And I'm just thinking, if a nation could just have that awareness, you know, there are so many things that I can even do.
What awareness?
Awareness of the change of how to do work to improve the community, to improve the government.
The importance of work.
The importance of work, the awareness of it alone, we begin to do something in the society.
Okay, thank you.
So,
yes, what I get the most is the biblical view from the work from the beginning. Your teaching give the real meaning of work.
Amen.
And it's very important for me to be able to work, to know what work is about. So thank you for this teaching.
Spasiba. Thank you. Sorry, I was speaking Russian to you.
What I was thinking is just that maybe the most difficult things to change, or what is, according to me, the thing that we have to change, is to not connect work to money, because work is so much connected to money that at the national level it's difficult to change. If we want to change the habits of people, we have to disconnect money to work, then to find back the real purpose of work, and then things will change. But if it's connected, people will not agree with the amount of salary that they will get. If they want to, if you have to increase the level of hour of work, government will also say that there are not enough money to pay at this level of work, but it's only work that can change. So if we disconnect, then people can work for another reason, not only for money.
Beautiful. You are so right. And that's why I wrote the book, Money Won't Make You Rich. And work is better than vacation. Labor is better than favor. And dignity of labor. These are all because of the excellence is better than money. Or it's called excellence, your key to elevation. Why you more urgently become a workaholic. And money won't make you rich. Yes, sir, Pastor Wellington.
We now know what why poverty is reigning in Africa. We now are getting it clearly because you've been able to break it down, so that everybody hearing us can just understand it. It's not all about another marathon praying and fasting for one now to now receive one revelation, an angel telling us that there's no. This just practical. So I really, it's just practical. So we have a situation where money is in the hand of individuals, and not all, just some few, and that the majority are poor. So how can the country itself, how can it get it back so that the nations, the Africa itself, can now experience what those here in the West, what they have been experiencing? And it's just, that is just the secret, that they should bring about, that let there be an awareness, a general awareness of work. We know of states in Nigeria where I will tell you, people are very lazy. You can imagine people waking up in the morning and that all what they enjoy is to be drinking wine, drinking alcohol. All these things are common everywhere. And now, that it's not possible. I think it's possible. There was an article I wrote some months ago because it was a research, and that I was able to, I noticed also whenever I travel home that the people that comes to Lagos, I mean to the former capital, they are always vibrant, hardworking, dedicated, diligent, all these qualities. The people from Benin, people from Togo, many of them always find Lagos as a way, I mean, a way out of poverty. You can imagine what Lagosians cannot do. They always, experience it in their, the little work, the little things they do, they will through it, the means, the profit out of it. They will be able to build houses in in Cotonou, in etc., you can name it. But those in Nigeria, they don't see the same thing these people are saying. Just as you told us, if you employ a Nigerian, in his own country as for example, a driver, look, the effectiveness, the willingness to do the work will not be there. So what will you experience? It is at the end of the day, you will see some of them even running away with the car. I've seen situations like that. And even if you employ some of them to be bricklayer or whatsoever, you will not see the quality because the heart is not there. Everybody around are just doing the same thing. But if you take these people who came in from other countries, you will see the dedication. So whenever we talk about Nigeria, it's not that we're limiting Africa, but that we're saying the population there really is very sensitive that if Nigeria can change, it will affect the whole Africa. If the awareness can be there and that this work, everybody, I was one of those pastors because I think this is also a time.
One of which pastors?
I was one of those pastors that used to preach the same thing. I had that belief before that this favor and they are watching me live, so they can they can
attest to it.
They can attest to it. So, but I really thank God because for the past 4 years, you can imagine 10 years of full time, and suddenly I stopped it, and I now went back, started working. So for the past 4 years, what I've experienced in working, if I'm here today, is because I took a leave. Now it's still working for Uncle Sam, but a time will come when it will be more better. Testimony. Is it about even the promotion at work, the exposures, the contact, the connections? Evangelism made easy. No more.
Which means there is more blessing in working than not even working.
As I'm here, I've been receiving calls. So my absence, the whole working place is saying, look, this guy must just come back. Not to even talk about the church that is waiting also for me. So the many years in the ministry, I wasn't able to, you see, people will just tell you because they just bring the tithe, you don't know what it cost. For them to, so they are bringing
that
the
is
tithe.
a pastor talking.
You don't know what they are going through. So when it comes to decision making of even where we should put the tithe, in which area, now it's always the Almighty. The man there is the Almighty. So we just go ahead and we say, okay, pay the bills, pay this, send it there, send it there. But if we, the pastors,
worked for it.
So if we work for it, we'll be able to understand because it's more deep. It's more deep. And I say this work of a thing has really, really helped me. Is it in project? The very first year I started working, the very first year, I'm talking about 4 years ago, I took the whole family to Nigeria for the first time. Since 23 years that I had them, everybody to Nigeria. That is true work. And whenever I want to start a project, even the idea, and I want to tell the church, the people that, look, I'm coming in with an idea, we want to do one or two things. Sama, before I come up with that, I have the money in my pocket. So I'm just saying it
to inform them.
To inform them. So if anybody wants to join, no problem. Now, to end it, it was 4 months ago, early this year. Because the tithing of a thing has always been based, the secret of it has always been through the Malachi of a thing. So I have to stop it. It wasn't, if it were to be the full-time days. If it were to be I will really count the cost. I will count the cost. I will count all what how will I pay the bills? How would I pay the church building? Name it, all things. But I was able to boldly stop them because I need to stop that tithe. I really need to stop it, not because tithing also is not good, but when people tithe as a result of fear, and that it has been inculcated in their spirit that there is one devourer coming, that they will die, etc., sir, you will collect their tithe, and still there will be no testimony. Why? The source, the reason, the root of that tithe is not willingly. It's not as a result of revelation. It's not as a result of the love. God gave his only begotten son. It's because he loved the world. That was the secret. There was no secret agenda. There wasn't any devourer chasing God.
No manipulation.
No manipulation. So all this while, the setting where I was before I started what I'm doing today, some of them who are with me today came from that setting. And this tithing of a thing has always been like that. So whenever we call for tithe, you can see people running to the toilet. The little that will be in the house, you can see them, they are checking. As if, sir, when I stopped it and I said no more, people who have been, absent, who we've not been seeing, started coming back.
No. Are you serious?
After I was exposed to Pastor.
Are you serious?
After I was exposed to Pastor Sunday's teaching, I was on the stage with Reinhard Bonnke in Lagos, and I was prophesying that Nigeria will become the #1 tourist nation to Israel. But the Lord said, you have to work for it. You have to work for it and put aside money through diligence. And what was said on the platform is still true today. People think Jews are just blessed because they're Jews, because God made them blessed. It's because of what Pastor was teaching us today. 7 times Proverbs says through diligence, through hard work. So that's the secret for the Jews. I have a little gift for you, Pastor. And you know, it's Jesus.
So you see, he's a Jewish. So for you people who don't know, Pastor Rory is a Jewish man himself. So he knows, and it's even not from the Bible alone, but from his family and from his culture, that Jewish people walk. It's not just because they are born Jews.
You know, Jesus himself, he says to us in Matthew 5, how should we let our light shine? That people will see our good work. Our good works, plural. Exactly what we're talking about today. And he said, I didn't come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. He says, the one who's teaching the 10 Commandments and all the things from the law will be called great in the kingdom of God. And the one who teaches against it will be called least. And I don't know if you've seen this before, the tzitzit. But this is written in Numbers 15:37. The Holy Spirit says, the Lord, the Holy Spirit says, you shall wear these things. Now, this is not the basis of salvation. That's only in the cross. But you shall wear these things that you not walk in the lust of your own flesh. But all your work you do according to the will of God. So I have a little gift for Pastor from Israel. And, you know, if you don't have these tzitzit, these fringes on the edges of your clothing, this is how prayer shawls were started. So that if you don't have it on your clothing, you could anyway put the prayer shawl on around you, and then you have the 4 corners, you have the obedience to have the fringes. And every time you look at the fringes, it's to think, not to go of working in your own ways, or walking in your own ways, but to do the will of God with everything. So thank you, sir.
We didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that, because I've seen a lot of people wear this, and I even see Christians wear it and pray. But I'm not sure all of them know. Yeah. Thank you, sir. So anybody wants to say anything? Oh, it's time? It's time. Okay. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, DSA, for that awesome section with you. Let's put our hands together once more and appreciate DSA. And thank you also, friends on Facebook, YouTube, for being with us.
I'll be back.
Yes, we'll be back in an hour, 30 minutes, or less, actually. So, see you. Bye-bye.